Hello and welcome to the movie universe. I'm your host, Movie Fan. Today is a very special day because it's been a while since I've done a Power Rangers live stream. And as you can see, I've gone Blue Ranger today. So this is going to be fun, guys. And I see that I already have some guests. LBT, good to see you, man. And Shamar Wallace, good to have you here. Well, now, shall we get started on what we're all here for? Of course we shall. Well, as I'm sure you've already figured out. Oh, thanks, LBT. I made it myself. It's a... hey, Jonathan. Good to see you. It's always glad to have you here because, you know, you can never have too many Power Rangers fans around. That's for sure. And Tony, good to see you. I was wondering if you'd be here. That's awesome. Oh, and by the way, I caught the rest of your morphs. Awesome work. Awesome work, bro. But, yeah. Well, I decided, since Cosmic Fury is come and gone, quite literally, and I know a lot of people are probably wondering what my thoughts are on this subject. That's not a bad idea. How about I get a few recruits in here? So let us do just that. Give me 1 second, everyone. For all my friends and Power Ranger partners here, why don't you join me? Because texting isn't good enough for this kind of conversation, I don't think. So there's the link. Can't wait to have you all here. Well, in the meantime, I want to, while I'm waiting, I'll just tell everybody that it's been pretty good so far. We got our first and our second. All right, one by one.
Oh, hello, movie fan.
Hey, LBT, good to see you.
Good to
Coming
see
up
you
for
too.
another one? And Tony, good to have you here, brother.
It's about to get wild.
Yep. Here we got another one. Shamar, good to have you.
Yay!
Hey,
All right.
Ranger here.
Well, yeah, we're all here. So, I'm sure everybody's seen Power Rangers Cosmic Fury so far. No?
Yeah, me too.
Oh, I've seen it. And
Oh, you have? Okay.
it was
Awesome.
amazing.
Well, I think it could have been a little bit better, but I think that's the old school talking here. So, but,
Couldn't agree with you more on that.
Yeah. I mean, it had its good points, and you know that's one thing I want to bring up. I haven't seen Cosmic
what
Fury.
I call Rangers Assemble.
Yeah,
Indeed.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, it was quite nice to have Billy as a mentor figure.
Yeah.
Kind of see it as vindication for David Yost after what happened to him during Zeo. It was, every time I remember his interview that was conducted in 2010, I'm like, it's not just because I felt bad for it, because I was kind of in a similar situation as he was when I was a teenager, but it wasn't as terribly drastic. But, because it's clear to see that Billy was a veteran Blue Ranger in Mighty Morphin during his Mighty Morphin years.
Yeah.
And I know that the popular choice would have been for him to be the new Gold Ranger.
Yeah, there was a lot of hints around that people have been throwing around that was going to be, but they decided to go for Austin instead, allegedly.
Yeah.
I think because there's some about Zeo's ratings going through a bit of a shaky state, so that's why they brought in Austin St. John. Yeah, it's a bit of a confusing story, confusing bit of history here and there.
I remember Austin told a different story on that one, but unfortunately, it does seem like he does tell tall tales after all. So, yeah.
Hmm. Well, like going back to David Yost, I argue that this was definitely his true moment to shine. I mean, after what, nearly 20 years or 20 years. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Pretty interesting.
exactly. I mean, not speaking of vindication, I mean, Hunter Dino's character, Amelia, the fact that she ended up being a full-time Red Ranger, graduating Pink Ranger, kind of showed me right there that, well, there was also that bit of vindication because if you recall Power Ranger Samurai, there was also a female Red Ranger in
Yep.
Lauren.
That's true.
But she
Oh, and,
got so maltreated in her
speaking
own
of
in
female
her
Red
show.
Rangers, speaking of
Excuse
female
me?
Red Rangers, I saw the Hasbro toy line that was made by Hasbro called the Lightning Collection. You know, the Lightning Collection is that they switch genders, like Trini being the Red
Ooh.
Ranger and Jason being the Yellow Ranger. What a
Oh
surprise!
yeah.
I
They
just
did that
searched
for
that
a
up on the
comic book
internet.
too. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, Boom. It was from the Boom comics.
Huh.
It was an
Really
interesting
interesting.
idea.
Mm.
But
I mean, I would even make the argument that if you remember, I mean, of course, Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers, that miniseries.
Mhm.
And I know that there are going to be those who are going to disagree with me, but I always thought that Delphine should have been a Red Ranger.
Yeah.
I don't know why on earth. I get why she ended up being the White Ranger because, of course, her Sentai counterpart in Kakurenja was a White Ranger herself.
Oh, and
however,
not to
the
mention,
thing about Delphine that she had was this strong presence, and Rajia Al-Budi, I'd say, yeah, her actress really imbued that strong presence right there and made me feel very convinced that she should have been a Red Ranger because Red Ranger for Alien Rangers, Orico, it seemed like he was just there just to be a member of the team, or because it's kind of shaky if he is even second in command or whatever, because it seems like the entire command really belonged to Delphine.
Could be, Jonathan.
And like I said, if the colors were changed, I would have had Delphine be a Red Ranger. I would have had Oracle be a White Ranger because, that would have made a lot more sense. Maybe, just keep Sestro and the other two Alien Rangers as they are. And, I'd throw in, Sestria as the pink Alien Ranger. And maybe even Dulcia as the green female ranger. And
that would have been awesome having her.
Yeah, definitely. Sort of a missed opportunity to have a total of 7, because if we know Mighty Morphin, it technically had 7 colors of rangers.
Technically, yeah.
I mean, yeah, technically 7 colors. I mean, white, green, red, black, blue, yellow, and pink.
But in the Sentai counterparts, it was like 6. And then in Mighty Morphin, it was like 7. So you do have a point, Anthony. You do have a point.
Yeah.
Exactly. And going back to Lauren, I'm still pissed that she got shafted in Samurai, because the status quo could have at least changed for Samurai. I think that's what made the show suffer, in my opinion.
It was part of it.
Yeah, I mean, because why I'm still pissed at what happened with Lauren is, think about the previous had Ranger siblings, Lost Galaxy that had the Corbett brothers, Lightspeed Rescue that actually took advantage of Ron, the first American 6th Ranger, alongside his younger sister Dana, who is of course
Lightspeed Rescue
Pink Ranger
from Lightspeed Rescue.
Yeah.
Not to mention Ninja Storm with the Thunder Rangers,
and
Blake and Hunter. And even with Dino Fury,
and if we're talking about
Amelia
2 Red Rangers,
Javi.
Oh yeah, Javi, yeah. If we're talking about 2 Red Rangers in the same team, although they have varying ideologies, look no further than Eric, the Quantum Ranger, and Wes, the Red Time Force Ranger. And if we're talking 3, technically 3, Alex Drake, the original Time Force Red Ranger.
Eric the
Yeah.
Quantum Ranger from Time Force.
Yeah.
He's actually a
Exactly.
cool
I
character in
mean,
my opinion. And not
and
to
then you
mention,
could
he
have
has like costume design, which I actually like the suits in Eric.
yeah. All of these concepts should have been used for how Lauren should have developed in Samurai. What did they do with it?
Yeah, they completely threw it all away, and it all went to shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I also feel quite bad for a lot of the actors there too. I mean, Alex Hartman. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm pretty sure he's a cool guy in real life. I mean, of course I do. I do kind of feel for Erica Fong and Hector, David Jr. and Najee Detega, Brittany Ann Pirtle, and Stephen Schuyler. I do feel for them because I feel like they were working with a script that kind of made them be
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
status
All
quo.
thanks
God,
to Saban himself. And I
yeah,
hate to say
but
this, but
I
even
feel
the Sentai
terrible,
series
absolutely
developed
terrible for
its
Kimberly
characters
Crossman.
very well.
Mm.
You know, the Sentai
Yeah.
series, like the Samurai Sentai, they did a much better job than what we gotten in Power Rangers Samurai. Because I don't think,
Yeah,
because one of my biggest problems I have with both Samurai and Megaforce is that they don't just have actors doing martial arts and all that stuff in their Ranger
they don't.
outfits. Because most of them are just Sentai footages all
Yeah.
over the place.
Mm,
Like, if you
Yeah.
compare the Sentai counterparts to the American counterparts, it's like we're watching the same freaking thing. Like,
yeah,
it's like
Yeah.
they look identical to one another compared to
Mm.
the Disney seasons. Like, they try something new with it instead of relying too much on Sentai footages all the time.
or even some of the later Saban series during the
Well,
Fox Kids era.
Yeah, like that. Which is
Yes.
why
They
I
should have
prefer
taken
the Disney seasons of
advantage.
Power
Yeah,
Rangers.
They
because that
really
was
should have
American
taken advantage of what
prototypes.
they learned from Lightspeed Rescue.
Yeah.
They should have taken advantage of that aspect alone.
Yeah,
Not just Lightspeed Rescue, but also Jungle Fury and the more charismatic. Yeah, Jungle Fury. Jungle Fury had the Spirit Rangers. Why on earth couldn't they have done this for Lauren? I mean, if I
exactly.
if I
Not
had
to
it my
mention
way,
the
I would
A
have made
Squad
Lauren
from
the
Power
leader.
Rangers SPD.
Yeah,
The A Squad
Power.
team.
Yeah, Power Ranger. Yeah, definitely. Charlie, I think she was fascinating, but even going back to Lauren, I think she should have been a full-time Red Ranger. She's way more of a leader and a more attentive take charge person than Jaden can ever be. Jaden, I think the biggest thing, and no offense to Alex Hartman, okay, I think the biggest thing that sucked about Jaden was there's this sort of stoicism that he tries to, emit, but it kind of feels like for someone who's supposed to be the Red Ranger of
Georgie.
his team, I
There
kind
he
of find it ironic
Hey,
that
Kamen Rider. Good to see
that
you.
charisma of his is just shaky. I know that it was also based on the original Sentai, but come on. Can't we just have a little bit more of a personality change up? Can't we just have a little bit more of a status quo change up? Because
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
like
I just
that.
because yes, I can't I don't even know if I could watch Power Rangers Samurai properly because I'm still feeling for Lauren so much.
I can watch
I
the
just feel
action. That's about
absolutely
it.
terrible for her.
Yeah.
I could agree with you on that, both of you,
But I guess it's
because I do have mixed feelings. I do have a
Yeah.
love-hate relationship between Samurai and Megaforce, but the good side is with the sound editing and with the characters fighting and all that stuff. The bad side is with the writing and some lighthearted moments and all that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
if anything, I would have, yeah, I really wish Disney would have brought back the franchise
Hey,
like they
Austin.
should have done a
Yeah.
long time ago, and put them like on Disney XD or something like that. Or why not take inspirations from other superhero TV shows like the Spider-Man '90s cartoons
That was a
and
great
Avengers:
series.
Earth's Mightiest Heroes. You know
Exactly.
that cartoon from 2010 to 2012? Like they flesh out characters and develop them, and they take them very seriously. So
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
yeah, if they took if the Neo Saban was in Disney XD, then they would take things very seriously, and they would have done things a lot more around here and do a
Exactly.
lot
They
of things
would
a
have
lot different here,
experimented a lot
rather
more.
than relying on standby footages.
Yeah.
As
They
much
even
as I
did
like
that too.
Dino Charge, I would have to agree with Alex's points on that. There.
Mhm.
Well, I want to take a minute here, guys, to acknowledge we got 2 people in the mix now. We got Kamen Rider 64. Good to see you, man. Oh, and by the way,
Lovely.
I have been watching Kamen Rider Dragon, and it's a great series. I must review that. I'll get on that as soon as possible because I'm really
Oh.
liking that one.
Holy cow. I think
I
I need
did.
to review both Power Ranger series because the last videos that I did for Power Rangers is Mystic Force and Forever Red from Wall Force.
Oh
Because
yeah.
I've already reviewed 2 Power Ranger stuff in my channel if you want to check them out. But I think I
Anyway,
might have
Austin,
time
good to
for
see you.
Once
Glad to
and
have you here,
Always
Austin, by the way.
and
right.
Once and Always in Cosmic Theory. Yeah, like that.
Wow. Anyway, I'm also done with another project in which I have compiled all the Saban era Blue Ranger morphs with an
Oh,
introduction
sweet.
that I made. So that's gonna be uploaded onto YouTube. So
That's
stay tuned for
awesome.
that.
Yeah, I know I'm
Cool.
working on a few other big projects. Right now, I'm still in the middle of quite a few things. I got a Christmas one coming up. I hope I get it done in good time, but that's going to be a
And-
surprise for later.
And speaking of that, I mean, I'm also going to use my Blue Ranger morphs to also show my ranking, like an abridged ranking of where I rank something like Time Force and Space and all that, based on the morphs that I've been doing. Based on the
Awesome.
morph.
I
Wait,
also did it too.
Wait a minute.
Oh, sweet.
So you took
Because-
inspiration morphs from Shamer's, Anthony, or you did things on your own?
I did it on my own. I
'Cause-
did it on my own. I was like, okay, and I think that was also some of the inspiration that I got from like other Power Rangers related channels like Chris Cantada. I love his content to bits.
Oh,
Yeah.
me
Not
too.
to mention my friend Shamer, because he did a lot of Power Ranger fan morphs, and they were incredible. Sure, the visuals may not be great, but I mean, you should check out this guy. He has the
I'll have to
most
check that out,
coolest fan
definitely.
morphs. Right, Shamer?
Right.
Right.
I'll have to check that out
Okay.
later, definitely. But
Mhm.
anyway, guys, getting back to Cosmic Fury, I will admit it did have its good points. I did love the CGI Zords, but it does feel like it does need a little bit more work done on them because, well, I hate to admit it, even though Hasbro clearly's got the money, it seems like they pulled back their budget a little, with all
Yeah.
fairness. But
Mm,
I mean, I'll admit
Yes.
it's a TV show. Hey, my bro Skystub is here. Good to see you, bro. And well, I'll admit the writing, it was very it felt very rushed. I'm sorry, guys, but you know the action had some good points, but the story was a little too rushed. I mean, they literally
I
made
think
10
I agree with
episodes and that's it. I mean,
Mhm.
wow.
I totally
I
Yeah.
think I
agree
agree
too.
with you, which is
Yeah.
why
I
I
think-
prefer Power Rangers
Okay.
Dino Fury, which I
yeah.
prefer Dino Fury because Dino Fury is one of my favorite seasons in the Hasbro era of Power Rangers. And then for Neil Saban, it would be Dino Charge, and I guess Ninja
Mhm.
Steel. Yeah, the first season
Yeah,
of Ninja
Dino
Steel.
Charge. Yeah, Dino Charge, and even to some extent, Super Dino Charge. That had actually the most ambitious number of Rangers I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Probably rivaling that of SPD and Mystic Force alike, and to some extent, Jungle Fury.
not to
Oh, and
mention the best.
That's true.
The best Disney season of Power Rangers, in my opinion, would be Dino Rangers Roar, Power Rangers
Nice.
Dino Thunder.
Dino Thunder.
Dino
yeah.
Thunder is actually my favorite.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, and speaking of which, RPM, you know, that should have been the formula that should have been used for Power Rangers Samurai. 7 Rangers. Why the heck didn't people
yeah.
like Saban even think of it? This is why I'm still pissed at these people.
Yeah.
Or why not even have Robo Knight and Orion also be part of the 7 Rangers? It's just nonsensical.
Yeah, it just
I
bothers.
don't know.
That's what bothers me about Megaforce. The first season of Megaforce, we get Robo Knight, and then the second season, the Robo Knight is nowhere to be found, and then replaced with Orion, the Silver Ranger, which he is kind of cool, but The biggest problem is that it just didn't do it for me as much as other Six Rangers kind of do.
Yeah. I
But to
think
be
Yeah.
fair, at least he has like abilities to fight off X-Borgs and then using martial arts and all that stuff, which is kind of cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
I've
who
only-
could forget the biggest letdown ever? The so-called legendary battle.
I know
Worst, I
that
think-
one legendary
think-
battle from Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah,
Megaforce.
it feels like a
to its
what?
Super
Right.
Sentai counterpart. No.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what the fuck am I watching? Like,
The hell?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know
Glorified
if-
cameo
Style
after
even
glorified
lasted for a few
cameo.
seconds. Hell, I even
Yeah, this
pull
is
up a Godzilla
ridiculous.
1998
Let's just
reference
fight
by
putties for a couple of
we give you
minutes
Dorks
and call it a day.
$150 million
At least
Yeah.
we
do a
had
Power Ranger
it-
anniversary, and then you
Yeah,
give
I
me
Exactly.
a pile of junk again, like that.
I know.
I even
And,
did that
you know,
in my channel twice. I even did that
remember
to Shamer's live
one-
stream.
I remember one guy actually came up with a good scenario as to how the story could have come out, leading up
Manhunter,
to the
Killer,
Rangers
this guy.
showing up there, which would
Mhm.
have made better sense. I can't remember his name, but he came up
Oh,
with a good scenario. But
Yeah.
probably the best one would be one guy on YouTube, Hunter Killer 1440.
Yeah, like
He
that
literally-
guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
he brought it all together with the footage. He put Saban to shame.
Yeah.
He literally got the
Fuck
proper
Saban.
Super Sentai footage.
Saban
Put
is
it in
actually
there
the
where it belongs.
worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with Saban. Not
No.
Yeah.
No.
Don't
There's quite a
you
few
think
reasons I'm
Red
not happy
Dino
with him.
Fury Ranger. Yeah. Fuck Saban.
Listen,
Like that.
listen. I
I'm
think
gonna make
this is
rant
this is
on
what
that
I'm gonna
in
say
the answer.
about both Megaforce and Super Megaforce.
Hmm.
The biggest Achilles heel, and this is my observation about both Megaforce and Super Megaforce, is that the cast were really trying to fill in the shoes of their predecessors. Most
Yeah.
specifically those from Mighty Morphin in Megaforce's case and Zeo in Super Megaforce's case. And we're talking all 3 seasons of Mighty Morphin and Megaforce's.
Yeah. They
You
even had a
gotta-
juice bar and a guy named Ernie.
Yeah, exactly.
And
the
they,
whole
and they
school
even have a
setting,
school
that's
teacher
strike
named
one.
Mr. Burley.
Yeah. That's
It
strike
could
one.
be
Going back
considered
to
a
the
good
school setting
shout
when
out,
you're-
but it's not good
Yeah,
enough.
going back to the school setting when
Yeah,
your
he has a point
when your
about
Sentai
that.
concepts have Angel Rangers for Goseijo and Pirate Rangers for Gokaijo, and then you cheapen all this with a Mighty Morphin rehash, like it's just seriously a huge letdown. I know this is a homage
That's what
series,
Fabio
but
was
come
talking
on.
about.
That's
In
why
his rant
Saban
on Power Rangers
don't
Megaforce.
want to deal with pirates because he hates pirates. That's the reason why they call that Super Mega Force, and that was really pissed about it.
Oh, and do you know the saddest part about legendary battles in Power Rangers Super Megaforce is that none of the Disney actors returned in this. Not even the cast
Exactly.
from Jungle Fury, Dino Thunder, Ninja Storm, SPD, Mystic Force. None of the,
The
Disney
only
actors
return was
returned
Kate.
in this,
The only
which is
the only
very
one who-
insulting.
the only one
Yeah.
who returned was Jason Smith as Casey. And
Yeah,
that's just because he's a writer. He was a writer
Yep.
there. But
Yeah.
you know,
they only brought him in, but you could have at least brought the cast from
Ooh.
Dino Thunder, Ninja
Bro,
Storm,
don't bring up
SPD,
Turbo.
and RPM, like those guys.
yeah,
But
exactly.
at least you brought some of the Disney actors in Dimension Danger, which I might give it that. But the
Yeah.
biggest problem I have is that they barely
My
have
cat.
any small role in all that stuff. Like they hardly play any role at all.
Mm.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
during the legendary battle, we don't see the Dino Thunder Rangers fighting. We don't see the Ninja Storm Rangers fighting. We only see the Megaforce and the Samurai team fighting X-Borgs.
Yeah.
And
Let's
what's
also
worse
not
is that
forget.
they keep
I also
talking
see
during the fucking fights. And I was
Let's
like,
also not forget
stop
about the main.
talking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
We
let's
get
also not
Robo Knight
forget-
for a minute.
Excuse me.
We get Robo Knight in there for a minute. He says,
Yeah.
"Good to see
Robo
you."
Knight.
It's just a
Oh,
waste.
yeah.
It's just a
Yeah,
waste.
it was a
of
waste.
time.
It felt
It
like it
was.
was.
Yeah. Also, I can't forget about how the cast had really huge, and I'm talking about humongous shoes to fill. You got Andrew
Yeah.
Gray. He's essentially filling the impossibly huge shoes of Austin St. John and Jason David Frank.
That's true.
Then you got Azim Rusk as Jake. He's filling in the shoes of both Walter Emanuel Jones and Johnny Young Bosch.
Yep.
Next up, who do we have next? John Mark Loudermilk. Obviously, Noah being a sort of what would happen if Billy were a light-skinned black dude.
It was Jonathan.
Yes. So
Sorry.
basically, John Mark Loudermilk was essentially filling in the shoes of David Yost and
about
Steve
Rocky?
Cardenas. Sierra Hanna, I would argue, had really, really, really huge shoes to fill. She's not only filling not just one pair of shoes, not just two, but three. Tui Trang, Karen Ashley, and Nakia Boris. She pretty much has the lion's share of the big shoes to fill. Absolutely huge shoes to fill. And I'm pretty sure that Karen Ashley and Nakia Boris are very supportive of her. And I've seen them on Instagram, and I know that they're very supportive of her, and she's supportive of them too. And of course, Christina Masterson. Shoes to fill from Amy Jo Johnson and Catherine Sutherland combined. And of course, we're looking at the gentleman who voiced Robo Knight, Chris Orr, and Cameron Gibo, who played Orion. Obviously, those two are filling in Jason David Frank's shoes and Austin St. John's shoes from Mighty Morphin and Zia, respectively.
Yeah. Don't know why Megaforce had to be a complete rehash of Mighty Morphin and all that stuff.
Not
they
just
call
Mighty
it the
Morphin
worst
alone, but also Zio.
Mighty Morphin done in the wrong way. Hell, I even searched up the internet by saying, and they said that Dino Thunder is a perfect remake of Mighty Morphin. And guess what? They do things in the right way because they know how to set things up and know how to.
And that's the problem.
Like I was saying,
Yeah.
Dino Thunder knew how to.
Oh,
It
mic
did-
cut off
right.
here.
Yeah, your mic got caught off, man.
Yeah.
Oh, like I was saying,
There we go.
Dino.
There
Yeah,
we go.
people said that Dino Thunder is one of the best Power Ranger remakes because they think it's a recreation of Mighty Morphin. Because, yeah, I understand the suits look kind of similar to Mighty Morphin, and especially with the helmets and all that stuff, and they put like, oh, sorry.
Yeah. In any case, even then, the whole that's
Sorry
pretty much
about
the
that.
problem
Sorry
with.
about
That's
the
okay.
background noise.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
okay.
It's fine. That's pretty much
Yeah.
the big problem with the Mighty Morphin nostalgia. Where Mighty Morphin uses a crutch, and especially, I get that Jason David Frank as Tommy was also a popular character. We get that he had an amazing character arc, but come on, it's not just Tommy alone
No,
who had this
it's
great
not. It's not.
character arc. We all know
It's
that
hard.
his brother from another mother, Jason David Frank's brother from another mother, Jason Font, also had a wonderful, wonderful character arc as Wes Collins. And can't forget about his other, fellow Red Rangers. I mean, Christopher Kimberly as Andros.
Yeah.
I like Andros.
Leo.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Connor. Yeah, all of
Connor.
them.
Yes, Carter. Excuse me, Carter. The gentleman who played Carter,
Yeah.
Sean C.W. Johnson as Carter, and of course, let's not forget about our
TJ
great commander Eric Myers, played by Master
Yeah.
Dan Southworth.
hmm
These people had great character arcs. I mean, it's not just Tommy. I get that
No,
his
that's true.
Yeah.
from
And
Green
you
Ranger,
don't have
from
to
being
rely
this
too much on
being
Tommy
the
Oliver,
powerful
whatever
Green
he appears
Ranger
on the
to
Power
this
Rangers
more
series.
wise White
Hell,
Ranger to
he even got
big
5
alpha male Red
suits.
Ranger, and then
5
mentoring
suits in a
Black Ranger.
row.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
2
But
suits
come
from Mighty
on.
Morphin, 1 suit from Zio, which is the red one, of course Turbo, and Black Dino Thunder. Because out of all the Tommy suits I've seen from the Power Ranger franchise, the green one from Mighty Morphin and Dino Thunder Black would be my ultimate favorites of Tommy Oliver.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
So,
Me
what
personally,
are your favorite Tommy suits?
if I'm gonna go with like memorability, I would say green and white. No doubt about it. If I'm talking
I
about
I second that.
if I'm talking
I
about
agree with that.
how it demonstrates Tommy's leadership and his
It does, yeah.
impact as a
Yeah.
hero, and of course as a leader, and then of course,
Yeah.
Zeo, is Red Zeo outfit. I know that some people complain about how it's designed, but I don't give a damn. I think it kind of shows how far he is gone from, especially when it came to earning his stripes
I agree.
during his time when he replaced Jason as the leader because of all the behind the scenes shit that was
Yeah.
going on between ASJTT and WEG, Austin St. John, Tui Trong, and Walter Manuel
Oh, I
Jones.
know.
Young. I mean, I get
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's just kind of, it's still sad, but at least with Tommy as the White Ranger, at least when his transition to Zeo meant that he
That was
earned
pretty
his
serious.
stripes. He earned his stripes, and he kept
He
those stripes in the first half of Turbo until he passed on those said stripes to TJ, who I argue was a much better Red Ranger. But he did shine as a Blue Ranger, but he was a much better Red Ranger. That is the total inverse of what I feel about Rocky. Rocky was a much better Blue Ranger than he was a Red Ranger, and TJ was a much better Red Ranger than he was a Blue Ranger. So there you have it. I mean, when you're talking about formidability, the Black Dino Thunder. So that's how I would mark it in these criteria.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool.
Totally. And I will say that with getting a little further back again, because we got. I know, it's hard not to, folks, but we can't help but get a little off track when it comes to Power Rangers because there's 30 years of material here.
Exactly.
So it's
Yeah.
hard not to
But then
slip
again,
off.
that's what it all culminates, But
Totally.
but going back to Cosmic Fury, I'm glad that Billy took the mantle as a mentor. I'm glad because
I just wish he could have had more time with it, though. 'cause
yeah,
10 episodes.
then again, you
It
also
could have
gotta
been way
consider
better.
Big Joe's
Yeah.
age. He's 54 years old.
I think I agree with movie fans
Well,
of
yeah, I
Power
know.
Rangers Cosmic Fury, which
Oh.
10 episodes in a row, like it felt kind of safe and all that stuff. Like,
And
what's up with that?
That's
we
the
could have
problem.
had the T words. We could have had more Rangers to help the other Cosmic Fury Ranger, but it felt like the only thing we had is the Zord, is the Megazords. But we
Yeah.
didn't even have that too.
No, and it was all one-hit kills kind of thing. And that's not Power Rangers. That's not right. I mean, come on. Usually the monsters in that are tougher than that,
Yeah,
One-hit kills, no, I'm sorry. I can't go with it. And,
it's
this is one of the
anticlimactic. I
this is
get
one of the
it.
biggest problems. It is so rushed, and at the same time, I think they may have been doing a little too much experimentation all at once. Because literally,
Right.
they were putting their heart and soul into a female Red Ranger, which Saban did not do properly. We can all agree on that, I'm sure.
Mhm.
But the thing is,
Yeah.
they were experimenting on that. They were experimenting on having totally different costumes that were not Super Sentai, which
Uh-huh.
they were kind of cool, except for the foam abs. I wasn't exactly too fond of that myself. But it's not something I'm gonna be all, like my friend DHR has said, all fandom about this. Because when the pictures came out on that, people were screaming bloody murder about this. It was like, oh,
Mhm.
come on. It's not that big of a deal here. I mean,
Exactly.
they might as well have been like, no. That's pretty much what they were doing. I'm not
Right.
kidding. They were blasting all kinds of
Right.
hate on Twitter like crazy. And like,
Yeah,
come
exactly.
on,
I mean,
guys. It's not worth that.
yeah,
I mean,
especially
I
on
didn't think too
social
much of it
all
either,
the
but
vitriol.
it's not worth crying like a 2-year-old over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it's not like that.
That's why
And
I try to avoid all this stupid discourses on Twitter, especially when it comes to people just thoroughly throwing their venom against Austin St. John. I mean, oh boy.
I
There are
kind of
those
feel bad
people
that he
who
was
just don't
arrested
want to
around
let
in
go
2023, I believe.
of the crap that he's done as of late. They're just those who don't want to let go. They're just those who think that he still has a grudge against Jason David Frank. I
oh,
mean,
come on. I never
Unbelievable.
found any proof of that. Even after all the times that Jason bashed him, he was always very supportive of him. He said he was a great Power Ranger and a good leader on the show. He never said anything bad against him on camera that I've ever seen.
And then, of course,
I like
people
Austin
still.
St. John as the Red Ranger. I
Yeah,
really
me
like
too.
the guy.
Yeah, I think he's a great guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and people are still like demonizing him because of the whole scam shit that just seemed so out of control.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, well, for
I
starters,
kinda
they
feel
haven't
bad
fully
for-
confirmed this either, and that's a key thing. You know, I mean, we know why he was arrested, but you know, it wasn't exactly confirmed in a court of law yet. So, whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty?
Yeah,
And besides,
seriously.
with a lot of
I mean,
scams going around,
people on
Yeah.
Twitter are just like firing all types of horrible things at
I
him,
know,
saying,
bro.
"Oh, he got arrested."
Not to mention
got
sending
his
death
criminal
threats in
record.
front of him. Just like with
Yeah.
Colin Trevorrow.
I know.
It's
Yeah,
horrible.
and you know, when Jason died, you know, granted, he did make one thing very clear when he gave his little condolences to the family. You know, he did say that it's no secret to us now that they weren't exactly drinking buddies, and he left it at that because you know he obviously took a higher ground than what Jason did because we all know how Jason really bashed him over the years. And not to mention, he was one of the guys that kept fueling that fire that allegedly he did gay porn, which he did not do, by the way. That was someone else.
No.
Doesn't even
Yeah.
resemble him at all. And
Yeah.
you can say what you will about that, folks, but, you know, Jason, that was pretty low of him to do it. I won't deny it. But, you know, it's just the fact that Austin, you know, he never had a bad thing to say about him at all. That's the
Ever.
truth.
I mean,
Even
yeah. I mean, the worst thing that happened to JDF was really when Tammy served him the divorce papers, and
I know.
it's stupid. I'm sorry to
Oh
say this, but if I were in her
Yeah.
position, I would not have done this. Just done this
No.
in private.
No. Yeah. And you know what?
This is
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
this is sort of what led to him becoming more depressed and just
It pushed him
torn.
over the edge. It did push him over the edge. And you know,
Listen, I don't
I-
want to be demonizing Tammy as well, and I know that Sky also had her own misgivings against Tammy. But seriously, use common sense for this. Common sense should have told her to just leave the divorce papers in private. Don't even go to this freaking Comic-Con to just serve it to him, because that's low.
yeah, it is.
You say that
Yeah.
say that JDF was your freaking soulmate. Then why did you go to the Comic-Con to serve him his divorce papers? I don't get it.
And you know what, man? I've been brooding on this for over a year now because it has been that long now. And I've been
Exactly.
staying out of it as much as I can because, you know, that's not what I do. But, you know, I'm going to make a video on this for future reference. I mean, granted, maybe it's not, maybe that time has passed, but, you know, it's one of those I got to get it off my chest kind of businesses. And, you know, people need to remember that she has said some pretty weird things after the fact that don't add up. And I got a feeling she did something else too. Do you guys want to hear it?
Go on.
I wanted to.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
Well, I couldn't help but notice that during the funeral, for what little I was able to take, none of the original Rangers were there. I can only think of maybe 3 possibilities. One, it might have been too painful for some of them because Amy, she was hurt really hard. We all know that because they were so close. That's very possible. No denying that. In fact, I'll tell you a little story. When legendary singer and actor Dean Martin died, his best friend in the world, Frank Sinatra, he was so hurt by it, he couldn't go. So his wife went to represent him, of course. But they were such close friends. It hurt him. He couldn't go. So it's possible. That's my point.
Mhm.
Now, possibility number 2.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they couldn't exactly make it. They're not exactly all in one area. And I mean, air travel's tough and all that. And
Yeah,
plus being
exactly.
famous and all that, sure, it's possible. But reason number 3, I keep saying that. Possibility number 3 that I am thinking, and this is the only one that makes sense to me, I don't think Tammy invited him. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
Oh man.
For
I mean,
someone
she-
who's supposed to be, for someone who's supposed to be friends with a lot of JDF's buddies, like Jason Font, and I know that it's just for the sake of privacy and all that. It's just sake of family. But come on,
Yeah, and they
on.
they were practically family in a way. I mean, I can understand Austin not going. I mean, with all due respect, considering all the stuff that Jason did over the years, I get it. I can understand that. So,
Mm,
assuming he didn't go because of that, he's got every right not to. So that's no. If Austin's watching if he's watching right now, and I'm not pointing any fingers, I'm not making any accusations, man. I'm just saying that if that's what happened, I understand. I get it because it would. Yeah, it makes sense.
I
No,
feel
no
bad
hard
for Jason
feelings.
David Frank.
exactly.
I mean,
But
it gave me a nightmare when I saw this back in 2020. I mean, 2022.
2022.
And I have to make a video on it. Thanks, Shamer.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
reason why I make this video because when I find out that he on the news, I know it was a joke, but usually it happens
too.
when he's passed away. Like it makes me depressed.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to have such a very hardened sense of skepticism, especially on Twitter of all places, about what happened
yeah,
with
that's
JDF.
definitely the place to have the skepticism. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As always.
but then his legion of fans said to me, you know what his legion of fans said to me?
Hmm.
JDF's gonna be remembered. You're never gonna be remembered. You, on the other hand, are never gonna be remembered.
What the hell?
What?
What the hell?
Look, there's no denying JDF's going to be remembered, but that was completely uncalled for.
Oh
Yeah.
my god!
That's complete bullshit.
Just
Yeah.
because they had
Like
some
whoever
honest-
say this, it's not even. This is getting ridiculous because JDF legacy will still be here no matter what.
Exactly.
Yeah, it will be. That's the truth.
Yeah, that was you right there. How mean and how
Jesus Christ!
just
Like,
horrible a
oh,
lot
That's
of
man.
these
mean spirited,
JDF
man. That is mean
fans hard
spirited.
And if I had it my way, I would have shown you a lot of what these crackheads have said. But I get it.
Yeah.
it. Hardened skepticism, and just trying to be a little bit more objective about JDF and not just see the heroic side of him and all that. It's tough work.
Yeah.
You
You
know,
can't deny it. It's tough.
I think this would be a perfect example of what's been said in an old episode of a legendary mystery series, Murder, She Wrote, that starred Angela Lansbury. There was one episode. Let me see if I remember the exact words on this one. This one guy was killed. He was a real creep, and I mean a real creep. However,
That's
he was good to this
terrifying,
one
man.
guy. Yeah, he was good to this one guy, and let me see if I remember correctly. He wanted to get even with the guy who killed him. Okay, and he had a gun on him, and Jessica tells him that he heard all this, and he knows that he's hurt a lot of people, and this character that we're talking about was a bad person, but he was good to him, and he made that clear. He never hurt him in any way, physically, emotionally, that sort of thing. Take your pick, same death. And she said but that doesn't mean that you can't remember the good times and all that, and acknowledge the fact, and at the same time you got to acknowledge the fact that he had that he was not a good guy in this case. For Jason, we can sure, we all know the heroics. We know, well, there's no doubt the guy was real dedicated to all of his fans. There's no doubt about that. He did a lot for us all, and he also did a lot of great things for the community, as my bro Skystub mentioned, because there was one part that I used for my tribute video for this year where he was obviously with David Yost getting toys and, giving it to kids in need and all that during Christmas. And yeah, he was that kind of guy. I mean, but at the same time, he had his faults too. I mean, come on, nobody's
Yeah.
perfect. There's no such thing as a
True.
perfect person, except for
No.
maybe Mr. Rogers.
I even repeated this multiple times by saying no one is perfect.
Yeah.
My
and-
mom
But I
said
think
it,
it's
my
also
brother
because of
said
how
it,
JDF. I
everyone
could
else
see
said it.
why. I
Mhm.
I could see why there are people who are just so tied into that whole heroic image of JDF, because it's simple. It's how he was marketed by Saban and Fox Kids. I mean, I understand that children had such a very, very strong relationship growing up with JDF on television because he was the guy who popularized martial arts in the 90s. He
One of them.
was, yes, one of them. Well, especially if you're looking at kids in the 90s, kids and young teenagers in the 1990s. What else? He opened his karate schools when he was 18 years old. I mean, normal 18-year-olds would be going out partying and dating, but he wasn't one of them, so he set an example. The other thing was that Tommy's whole odyssey of starting out as the new dude, then being misguided into doing villainy by Rita Repulsa, and then realizing that he's got this strong pro-social circle that he's had
Mhm.
in Jason, Zach, Billy, Trini, and Kimberly. That's why people fall for it so much, because he represents it for guys growing up with JDF when they were kids. He represented one of the ideas of what it's like to grow up as a man. For
Mhm.
girls, obviously, when they see Tommy and Kimberly, at least in all 3 seasons, and maybe to some extent Tommy and Kat, but mileage may
Mm.
vary, they see, Tommy being the hero, Kimberly being the girl, being won over by Tommy. It's you could see where it all enmeshes and all combines and ends up being drawn together. It's this image of heroism that people fall for. And of course,
Yeah.
it's wonderful and all. And I could see why there are those who fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. And then there are those who look at it a lot more critically. Like some people might think that, of course, JDF is Tommy. There are times that, and this is something that I should have also addressed in my term paper when I wrote about it in my university, is that there's just something that kind of borders on hypermasculinity and these very strict binaries of good and evil. It's like
Yeah.
he's constantly playing with these binaries, and this whole demand of him to be very masculine and of course traditionally heroic.
Yeah,
It's
just
true.
like that.
Yeah, very true.
Hmm.
Very true. And like I
Exactly.
said,
That's
I mean,
very true.
as much as I adore Tommy Oliver and Jason David Frank, but I'm not going to lie to myself about that he had his faults. I mean, the guy almost got into a fist fight with Jean-Claude Van Damme at a convention. There's actual footage of him having a beef with him, and but yeah,
I think that's
so
part of his hyper masculinity, because he still wants to portray himself as this big, and not to mention his MMA tenure. You know,
Mm.
you know what they say about lifting weights that you can lift.
yeah,
Guess what with JDF? Guess what happened to him? Try it out for heavyweight. Now, if I were him, and if I were a very conscientious coach, given how JDF used to be in his prime, especially during his tenure on Dino Thunder, I mean,
Sure.
at most he was middleweight, so he could have endeavored to compete in middleweight MMA and not end up having that physical accident that was going on with his bicep tear in like
yeah,
a fight that he was supposed to have committed to. But it's like the guy was jacking up, he was beefing up, but it's weights like that that were just a bit much for Jason David Frank when he was doing his MMA tenure at 36 years old. Common sense and a sensible coach would have endeavored to really make him stick safely with middleweight, because of course, even in his prime, he was no skinny mini. He was lean. He was freaking lean. So why
Yeah.
on earth did he have to beef up for MMA? I get that it's because he wants to like prove himself to be masculine and this traditionally masculine heroic looking figure, but come on. There has to be a bit of logic of what he should have done. And what he should have done was just stick with middleweight. Stick with middleweight MMA. Your body will thank you. Your body will, will not suffer or be compromised. It'll be more grateful. It would have been more grateful. But when he competed heavyweight MMA, it was like he was kind of up a creek.
Yeah.
He was up a creek.
Yeah. Yeah. I never did like MMA to begin with. I think it's kind of a disgrace to martial arts, to be honest. It's more like gladiator stuff to me. That's what it's always been.
Oh,
But
is
that's
it
just
about
my
Jason David
opinion.
Frank?
That's fine.
I'm sorry?
Is it about Jason David Frank you're talking about?
Yep.
Yeah, he was in MMA for a while during that time.
I thought his martial arts stuff is kind of cool, especially where he was using like 6 kicks in a row while fighting putties and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that was actually really cool, I'll admit. I even watched that during Halloween, like back in 2022, long before his passing, which is kind of sad and all that stuff. But as always, with great power comes great responsibility.
That's true.
Exactly.
And once
That's
a
true.
ranger,
Indeed.
always a ranger.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And, getting back to that, that reminds me, Billy, he really did shine pretty well as a leader in the 30th anniversary.
Amen. And after much
Yeah,
vindication
like Watson
for David
Yep.
Yost.
But, points to Walter, though. He really outdid himself on that one because, he hadn't been seen since the Lost episode. So,
Oh, yes. Definitely. Definitely.
Not ever since Once and Always that we see April.
yeah, it's true. So true. And, one of these days I need to come up with a follow-up video to Once and Always because there are a few questions that I would like to ask just because out of curiosity.
Who
It's
was
just
Trini's
something
dad? Who was Min's dad? Yeah.
that's a big one that I've wondered about too. I'm pretty sure I think I know who it is not. It can't be, what was his name again?
It could be. I was wondering the same thing that would be Jason, but Richard, we don't know it's him or not.
No,
I still don't know.
What was his name? The guy, the one kid that Trini had a total crush on.
Richie.
I
Oh,
forgot.
is it
Richie.
that
Yeah,
Richard
Richie.
guy?
That's who it was, Richie. Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of people would probably think it was him, but not very likely because before, he disappeared when all this started. So behind the scenes. Now, granted, they were there, sort of, but we all know better now, so we know they were.
Yeah,
they were
Richie
out.
was kind of bland, and
He
not
was.
to mention Richie and Curtis were sort of played up to be the red herrings of the new White Ranger.
Oh yeah, I remember stories about that. Yeah, and the thing is, granted, they were leaning in that direction of him being a potential boyfriend for her, but when the contract dispute came up, he was out, she was out, it was out. The whole thing was out. So
Wow,
it couldn't have been him. It couldn't have been him.
Not to mention
Fucked
the
it up
subsequent
big time,
episodes that
Spawn.
only involved Tommy and Billy and Kimberly.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my god! They
Oh
were
my
just
God,
I know.
drag,
I
Saban.
know.
drag.
Saban
Why?
literally
know.
fucked it up big time.
I
They
know.
really screwed his
know.
stuff right now. I don't understand.
Yeah.
And we got the first thing I did told LBT the other day when we feel that we called JDF Helmet Head and disrespect him.
Yeah, like that.
Oh.
I mean, they just pander towards Jason David Frank, especially Han Saban himself, because
Yeah.
when Shamer told me about this, and then they literally ruined Tommy's career, especially from Dino Thunder.
Damn.
Like they
Yeah.
literally ruined his career. Like why? Especially in
Yeah.
Legendary Battle and Super Mega Force, and
I know.
that kind of bothered
And
me. I mean, you're a right movie fan. You're right. Han Saban is somewhat of a mean-spirited guy,
Mhm.
a cold, heartless dork.
Oh yeah. Yeah, David Yost said,
Yeah.
oh, you probably saw that video because David Yost, he said during the last convention I went to, he said that to all of them, you are expendable. Nobody cares about you. All they care about is the suit, the dinosaur, and the Zords.
Yeah.
They don't even care about the fans
Wait,
like Jason David
guys,
Frank.
you know this YouTuber by the name of Henry Resilient? Have you watched
I know
his
the
content?
name.
Yeah, I haven't heard it, but I might check him out.
Yeah.
Yeah. He kind of defended Haim Saban that he was a good businessman. I get that with Haim Saban
Well-
that it took him 8 years to get the Power Rangers franchise off the ground. But
Yeah.
even then, it's like I understand Henry's stances on Saban, but sometimes I do feel like Henry Resilient does come off as a bit condescending.
He what?
I'll take your word for that. I've heard the name. That's about it. So I'll take your word for it. And yeah, even I acknowledge the fact that, Saban does deserve a little recognition for the fact that this is the man who brought us Power Rangers, who did make it work. He made it happen because, Stan Lee, he had the rights, but he never acted on it as far as I know, he never acted on it because I don't know for whatever reason. Maybe he couldn't make it work. Maybe he just, wasn't focused on it. We'll never know because I don't know if anybody ever asked him, and I can't find any straight answers online. Nobody seems to know. So
every time I think about what was going on behind the scenes and having Rocky, Adam, and Aisha being replacements, I think it was both a curse and a blessing. A curse because it would have been. I think if Austin St. John had remained, he would have been just on par with Jason David Frank as the longest remaining Power Rangers actor. That's one thing. But without Johnny Young Bosch, he wouldn't have had the career that he has today.
That's for sure. Because boy, he's really made a name for himself.
Exactly, especially in anime and voice acting. I mean, he's actually become very I don't also agree with TV tropes with what's said about Johnny Young Bosch in terms of his versatility, because the gentleman is actually versatile as a voice actor. I mean, I would even argue that he is one of the people who can be considered a man of 1,000 voices. Prove me wrong. You listen to his voice work as Vash the Stampede, and you compare it to Kaneda from Akira.
That's true. There's some pretty big differences.
Then you compare it to his voice work as Ichigo Kurosaki. Do you see where I'm getting at?
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Do you totally comprehend where I'm getting this pattern?
Oh, and
we had a glitch there. I'm sorry.
As I said, do you totally comprehend where I'm going with this pattern?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think
so. That's why I don't agree with TV tropes saying that he's kind of a pigeonhole. He's not pigeonholed.
Oh, and about that, remember that reunion between Stan Lee and Jason David Frank?
I remember that.
Yeah, I even posted this on my channel like a few weeks ago by saying that the two legends are gone. By saying. And do you know what's actually interesting is that Stan Lee was dressed up as a Power Ranger, and I actually like the suit. It kind of resembles like Spider-Man and then Mighty Morph it all together, and which was very creative. Like, so instead of like a random Power Ranger stuff, it's a Stan Lee Power Ranger next to Tommy's Power Ranger.
That is dope.
Which is
is dope.
Of course it is. Which is really interesting in my opinion. And I was like, man, I didn't even know that Stan Lee was reuniting with one of the Power Ranger actors, which is really amazing. And I actually like Stan Lee. I mean, he's one of my favorite comic book writers out there.
Influential, absolutely influential. Yeah. Oh man, but I can't even talk about Marvel without talking about Disney and how it's abusing that property.
I know.
Disney is abusing everything these days. I
Yeah,
mean,
Exactly.
yeah, and it's gotten so bad in so many ways. But I
Yeah.
think that's a discussion for another time, bro.
Yeah,
yeah, but
Disney's
then
gone
the only
way
good thing that
wider.
Disney has ever done for Power Rangers was make better seasons. That's it.
Exactly.
They did, and one very awesome 10th anniversary episode.
Oh, is it the one
Forever
with
Red.
Wall Force?
Yeah.
Forever Red.
Yeah, that was an
Oh,
awesome.
yeah,
yeah.
I like that
I
episode
also
of Wall
consider
Force.
that
Me
as
too.
another.
I even reviewed it on my channel.
Actually, I
and
consider
me and Gamers did a
reinforcements from the
podcast on
future.
that.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, we
Actually, I
did.
consider both reinforcements from the future and Forever Red as the switch to the Saban era of the Power Rangers.
Really?
Is it
After
like
all-
a superior or farewell, something like that?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
what
a
are you
farewell.
talking about, Anthony?
Yeah.
Swan Song, Forever Red,
Ah.
and reinforcements from the future. Farewell
Yeah.
to the Saban era. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just
Because-
that, wasn't it?
The biggest farewell was the end of the Power Rangers from Wild Force, obviously because the crew were moving
that's
from the
sweet.
U.S. to New Zealand, and I think that's also why there was no a Wild Force Ninja Storm crossover, which I think was for the best, really.
Yeah, it probably
I think it was
was
for the best.
actually.
because The Super Sentai had actually Gaurenja have a crossover with Hurricanja.
Hurricane Ranger. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think in the context of Power Rangers, that would have been awkward because, after all, Jindrax and Toxica ended up, reforming, and I actually like Jindrax and Toxica way more than their Japanese counterparts Yabaiba and Suetsue, because Yabaiba and Suetsue, I've heard some people complain about Yabaiba and Suetsue being more like James and Jesse from Pokemon.
Oh
In
yeah,
terms
I think I remember
Yes,
that.
I do
them just
remember that.
being just straight up irredeemable and not learning from anything. Whereas with Jindrax and Toxica, they have a lot more soul in them, despite them being orcs. I think it's also because there is that mixture found in both Jindrax and Toxica. You might think that with Toxica, you might think that she's sort of like a cross between Pulsa and Scorpina. And with Jindrax, you might think that he could be a cross between Goldar, Finster, Babu, and Squat. But add in a bit of Bulk and Skull, and then you get Jindrax and Toxica. I get it. Wild
They're basically like
Force.
comic relief villains from Wall Force.
Excuse
Which
me?
does kind of remind me of these two girl sisters from Power Rangers Ninja Storm. The ones
Yeah.
that Cam has, like these two girls, which later on one of them stars like Cassidy from Dino Thunder, like a news reporter.
Yes. Capri and Mara. Yeah.
I can't remember their names too much from Ninja Storm, but yeah, later on I prefer the actors who play Cassidy from Power Rangers Dino Thunder. Not to mention the
Katrina
actor James Napier,
Devine, I
who
believe.
played one of the ninja students.
Yeah.
That's right.
He was
Yeah.
the Red Ranger from Dino Thunder. We can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, James Napier.
Yeah. Which later became a film director, which I don't mind him, but it kind of sucks that we don't see James Napier nowadays in the Power Ranger community and all that stuff. Because
I think
the
he
only
feels
Dino
like
Thunder
he
community I
outgrew
saw
it.
is with the actor who played Ethan and the actor who played Trent, and of course Jason David Frank himself, because
Jeffrey
he's been
Perazzo.
king of the franchise ever since Mighty Morphin came out.
The Psycho
Emperor would
Empress.
be more like it.
My bro Sky Stuff just commented asking about what I think of the Psycho Empress. That would be from the fan film series Power Rangers Unworthy.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was pretty awesome, actually, because, even though I'll admit they did take some risks, because when Andros enters the ship, that is clearly taken from The Mandalorian when Luke Skywalker shows up. Plus, they use some old footage from Saban. I hope that Disney and Saban don't try to jump on them and sue them for this, because Disney, if you take anything from them, they'll grab you by the throat. As for Saban, well, we know what happened when Power Dash Ranger came out. It was cut for a while until, the one guy said, hey, I did my own thing. I didn't rip you off, so go to hell. That's what he said, too. And that's pretty much what happened, and that's how we got the ever super violent Power Dash Ranger still on there. I mean, the idea was interesting, but I'm sorry, but Power Rangers using guns and shooting at aliens, no. And
No,
plus,
that's
Rita
just
Repulsa
plain
being in
generic.
disguise, blowing people's brains out.
If anything,
No.
they should have used weapons like swords, blades.
I mean, that is
saws, or
not
anything
Power
other than
Rangers.
guns.
No, exactly. It feels like, how do I say this?
It felt like a Commando movie. The only good
Or
part
Call
was
of
Zack's
Duty,
battling
Power
North
Rangers.
Korea. That was
They
awesome.
actually
Yeah.
use Power Rangers or anything.
But yeah, with Power Rangers Unworthy, I still want to see what happens when they finally face off against the Arbiter, because I want to see how that turns out. I'm hoping to get more out of that. But obviously we have to wait. And at least for this one, we got a fan film that's going pretty darn good. A lot better than what happened with MMPR, where we were promised the world and we got nothing. Everybody remember that?
Yeah.
Oh boy. And one thing I have to point out is that remember that part where I said about Dino Thunder being a remake of Mighty Morphin is because they do things in the right way, and not to mention they develop its characters. Instead of like 6 Rangers in Dino Thunder, it's with 5 Rangers. You get the 3 Dino Thunder team like Connor, Cure, Ethan, which is the red, blue, and yellow. And later on, Tommy becomes like the black Dino, and then Trent becoming the white Ranger like that.
Yeah.
And not to
You know what
mention,
would have been
they're
cool?
both, like dinosaur themed Power Rangers. Like Mighty Morphin season 1 and 2 had like these giant mechanical dinosaurs with mixture with Ice Age mammals. But with Dino Thunder, it's with every single dinosaur around here, from the Tyrannosaurs, the Triceratops, the Pteranodon, the Brachio, and one thing I have to point out to the
So much more.
I'm not sure if you guys are going to be shocked about this, but I think the Dragozord that the White Ranger had was based on a pterosaur called Hexagopteryx.
It could have been. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
There's millions of pterosaurs, so
Yeah, Hexagopteryx, which had that triangular like crest, similar to the Dragozord from Dino Thunder. Like I showed Shamer in my
I don't know about that.
my French stream.
Yeah.
Still,
Yeah. Guys, you know what would have been cool? You know what
What's
would have been cool if Devin joined the Dino Thunder Rangers as the Green Ranger, and if Cassidy joined as the Pink Ranger. That would have made a lot of sense.
that would have been pretty
It was
cool.
really fascinating because,
Yeah.
of course, I mean, you could keep Haley Zichter as the technical advisor, no problem. But it would have been really satisfying to have 2 girls and 5 guys in the Power Rangers team.
Yeah, I don't see
that
why
would
not.
have been
Yeah.
really epic for Dino Thunder.
Yeah, I
At
think
least
that would've been
Dino
cool.
Charge managed to pull that off.
Yeah, totally. And getting back to Cosmic Fury once again, I gotta ask one question that I know everybody's probably wants to know about. What do we all think of Lord Zed's big transformation to Master Zed?
Holy cow, that looks intimidating.
If anyone hasn't seen it, I got the
Fascinating.
footage right here, and I could put it on.
Holy
Who votes I do
cow.
it? Raise your hand.
I think I see.
I'm gonna do it. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think
I was
might
gonna
see
do
it
it
again.
I
think I might
was
do
gonna
it.
do it.
I
Anyway,
seen it.
so-
Because I don't remember that much of Lord Zed being that antagonist, but I mean,
Well-
it's great to have him back. Because
It's not too much, I'm afraid, because the old story about copyright and all that junk. But we're gonna chance that.
You're right. But
We're gonna chance it anyway.
Fucking and start
it
fighting.
even makes
theories.
Sledge
No,
look like
let's
a
pull that off right now.
pussycat.
Well, the entrance I did like, and I did like the costume. Unfortunately, it was so bulky and all that well, he couldn't do much with it, and that was one of the big problems. Saban was originally he didn't do much with Lord Zed because he didn't want to risk losing the costume. So you know, he didn't really fight except one time, and even then, it wasn't much of a fight. Most of the time, he was just using his staff powers. That's it. But when he appeared in Dino Fury, he was really fighting big time.
Right.
But here, you know, and well, I don't know, Kamen Rider, about her humor. I think it was kind of dumb. Maybe it's the way it was written. I mean, it kind of sounds like they're trying to be corny right there, and I don't like that. That's one of the things that throws me. I mean, can you picture anyone talking to Lord Zed like that? A letter N? Is that what you did? And, you know, it kind of looks like an N from here. And,
More
you know,
like
it's
a
like,
C.
yeah, I mean, seriously,
Kind of
come
silly.
on. I mean, seriously, that's part of the problem with this one. Like I said, the writing, it feels rushed. And I know a lot of people are probably going to blame the writer's strike and the actor's strike for this, but I want to make something very clear to the world here. That is not the case, because this stuff is made in advance. This would have been made over last year. So this was way before that. So no, 10 episodes, they deliberately did it like that. Jokes like that, they deliberately did it like that. This is not made like last week. It doesn't work like that. Every now and again, you know, I know growing up, I used to kind of believe that, but then I finally woke up to the reality, and I know a lot of people every now and again kind of think that, but no, that's not how it works. It is not made yesterday. There was some shows that did do that, though, like the original series Goosebumps, the original series, not the remake on Netflix, the original. They really did do that sort of thing where they had a shoestring budget and they had to crank out so many episodes, you know, per month so they could try to get ahead of the game. So, yeah. But so it does exist, but that's not really how it works for the rest of them. This is all done in advance. So the writer's strike had nothing to do with this. So I want to make that very clear to the world here. And Tony, I know you know, and I know you guys know too, because come on, we all know better. This isn't done yesterday. It doesn't work that way.
Exactly. I mean, it's been filmed like months, let alone a year ago.
Months,
They've worked
even
really
a year.
damn hard. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's no way that this could have been released just like that. No, that took years, months, and it's mad. I should know because I have been on student films, and it's not just the shooting that's concerned, also the editing.
Yeah, and that's the truth. You know, any of us, even on YouTube, you know, we all know this takes time to put stuff together when you're doing it yourself, especially. So, yeah. I mean, most of my videos were made years ago. Granted, I'm rehashing some old ones because I deleted them for a while because of that little fear that, you know, they nail you for the children protection thing, which turned out it was false, by the way. But I saved them. I downloaded every one of them and saved them. But they're coming back slowly. So we can all see how much my videos have evolved over the years. You know?
Right.
Just as a laugh, you know. But there were some times I tried to improve them. Like I did try to do an old dare to compare of, you know, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie versus the 2017 film. Unfortunately, like I had some serious problems with that one. Oh, not the Zords one. That's a separate one, and that came out even better than I'd hoped, actually. But because I didn't expect to get that many views, to be honest, and so I'm very proud of that one. But I'm talking about the movies themselves. Unfortunately, I wanted to try to put in a special acknowledgement that, you know, this was before JDF's tragic demise and all that, and not to mention the fact that Hasbro promised that they were going to reboot the movie, which it's obvious they're not going to do because they've had more than enough time. They're clearly not going to do it. And instead, we're going to get a reboot series.
Yeah, I mean, why even bother rebooting Mighty Morphin Power Rangers? It's just like I said.
Yeah,
you have all these wonderful
I think
series,
they're going to do something very,
like
very different
Lightspeed
compared to the
Rescue
original
that got out of the
Power
school
Rangers
setting.
show.
Like, screw that.
Yeah.
Screw another MMPR.
Yeah, I know.
Work.
I know.
And I hope it does
You're
better
just
than 2017's Power Rangers.
You're just using your safety blanket just to compensate the fact that you're not so sure if you want to move forward.
Yeah, and that you know, and that's true too, man. Because, you know, I mean, for me, I wanted to make a video on this, but, you know, considering how little we have to talk about Cosmic Fury, because there's only 10 episodes for crying out loud.
Yeah,
It's easy to just get to the
gee,
point here and just bring up the reboot. And my friend DHR, he's been covering all the all the rumors, the facts, the fiction stuff going around online. And he's doing a great job of that, by the way. You might want to check his material out. But he's talking about what's fact, like what the directors in them are actually talking about compared to what people are theorizing, and people are just assuming that's what's going to happen, And he's done a great job of that, by the way. And he's all for the reboot, and more power to him. I can understand that. Some people love reboots. I don't. I've seen too many remakes and reboots for the past 10 years to just make me sick. And half the time, granted, there's ones who try to make it original, they try to make it their own, and they do a pretty good job with it, like that whole rehashing of the Planet of the Apes. They gave a much better explanation as to how it happened than what the original movies did. And I give them credit for that. Because beforehand, it was kind of a mystery as to how the Planet of the Apes became the Planet of the Apes, except for maybe that third film. And even then, no. But at least for that little, like Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, at least they give a better explanation as to how it came around. But at the same time, I think they're finally pushing this a little too far, because now we got another one coming out. And and anyway, getting back on track here. Reboots. I hate them. There were exceptions. There was a time when, you could have maybe let's say, for the sake of argument, 20 original movies and maybe one remake or reboot per 5 or 6 years, maybe a little less, maybe a year. I don't know. But the problem is nowadays they're just not trying anymore, and it's all reboot.
Like
if you had to agree with you about it.
I mean,
Or
sometimes
revival,
when I think of reboots, these days, it feels like my relationship with reboots feels like I'm on and off again relationship with a guy who I thought was really hot and muscular, and then realized, okay, there are some things about him that I'm not really a fan of. So that's how I feel about reboots these days.
I'll give you that,
If I were
30.
still younger, I would have accepted a reboot of the Space Sentinels. I mean, if you knew that cartoon from the 70s, it was a Filmation made cartoon
familiar with it.
starring 3 superheroes called Hercules, Mercury, and Astria. It only ran for 13 episodes
Yeah,
for the
I heard
main
about
show.
that.
It was kind of sad that it only ran for 13 episodes, but because it could have ran for more. And the more I look back at it, I thought to myself, wouldn't it have been cool if there was a reboot, let alone a remake of the Space Sentinels, and have the characters a lot more fleshed out? Because who I had in my mind were the following voice actors to voice these respective characters. We could have had Austin St. John be voice the new Hercules, Dante Basco voice the new Mercury, and Tatiana Ali voice the new Astria. That would have been fun. And Kevin Sorbo would have been the new voice of Sentinel-1. Imagine Kevin Sorbo. We've grown up to love him as Hercules from Legendary Journeys, and now here he is voicing a mentor figure.
That's true.
That would have been interesting.
And we've been promised a He-Man movie reboot for years, and it has not happened yet. Because, as I think many people may remember, the one from the 90s, that was total garbage. I give him an A for effort, but that was not He-Man. That was not true to the series at all. And I remember back in, 2019, there was like a promo movie poster where you see Battle Cat kind of in a shadowy figure. And oh my God, I was thinking, okay, we're finally going to get a reboot on that. But instead, we get a reboot series. And then another reboot series behind it.
Yep, and they're both on Netflix. Yeah. One intended for an older audience, another intended for younger audiences. Like, what the hell?
And one of them's a little political, which I'm not too fond of. I mean, it's one thing to try and do the right thing, but to be political, no. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't want anyone to get me wrong here. I could care less about things, but when you're getting political in television, people watch stuff to escape reality. If you want to get political,
Exactly.
watch the news.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah. I mean, people watch movies and that to get away from the troubles and issues and realities of the world, and that's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But that's where I stand on that subject. Maybe I'll bring that up some other day. I don't know. But
Yeah.
but there's too much hate involved in that, so maybe I won't. I don't know.
That's
But
also
anyway,
why I kind of
Yeah.
stay away from, ultra feminism because
oh yeah.
oh dear, this is also why I kind of also stay away from certain leftist ideologies because when I made my stance on Kagome, sitting Inuyasha 20
Yeah,
plus
I
times
remember.
in episode
Yeah.
109 and why I hated it so much, especially on Twitter, did you know what some crackheads assumed about me? They
I
said,
remember that.
oh yeah, I mean, I just simply said that Kagome deserves all the physical harm that she can get. Spinning roundhouse kicks in the head, liver punches to her stomach, and then some crackhead said, "Oh, he just hates women." And he's a cornball, beta male cornball who hates women. I explained it. I don't hate women. So here's one thing I think I might have told them. If I hate women, why is it that I like strong heroines like Jen Scotts or Taylor Earhart or Maya or Ashley, Cassie,
Mm-hmm.
Kendricks, and Corone? Why is it that I love these ladies so much? And why is it that I also have good female friends in real life? Riddle
Yeah.
me that.
Yeah, exactly, man.
It just
Exactly.
shows you right there that there are those type of people who lack logic and who
Totally.
just want to live in their own little world and project their own insecurities and some of them want to portray themselves as alpha males online, and some of the female Kagome
Oops.
fans want to
Yeah.
think that, oh, he's just a misogynist. I'm sorry to say this, but my time on Twitter has shown me right there that there are crackheads.
Yeah,
Huh.
man.
Yeah. Yeah, and there were some people that they say some of the
Hating
worst.
crackheads.
I agree. I totally agree. That's why for me, when it comes to Twitter, I usually just try to use that to promote my videos, and that is all. I try to.
Same.
And sometimes, I can't help but see something in the corner of my eye, and I think, should I? And I can't help but do it. I hate myself for doing it every time, but with few exceptions. The only exception right now, Amy Jo Johnson showing us her comic book little sneak peeks.
Yay.
Love it. I cannot wait to meet Olivia. I cannot wait for that. I'm so excited for that because, I'm sorry, and I know, I don't usually throw this word out, but for all of us Tomberly fans out here, we've been wanting Tommy and Kimberly to get together forever.
Yes.
They're the ones who really belong together.
Yes, and if I had it my way, just let Jason tap Catherine's ass, and I'll be happy.
Maybe it would have worked having Jason with her. I don't know, but still, yeah. But still, it would have been a lot better than that than other stuff.
Yeah, Tom Burley and Kaysen are my Ride and Die, Mighty Morphin / Zeo ships for life. So there you go. Where Tommy and Kimberly have each other, I think that Jason and Catherine could have worked better. I mean, Emily from Zeo was vanilla, and we all know what happened to her.
Yeah.
Disappeared. Why? Because I get it. Emily, she started out as the girl on sort of the wrong side of the tracks, and then she became nicer. But after she became nicer, she just became more vanilla.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's just.
I don't blame her actress, but I just felt like she deserved somebody else. I mean, could have. Honestly, the way I see it, and I'm still having a bit of a grudge on There's No Business Like Snow Business. I'm still having a grudge on that particular. I really want to make a critique on that episode, on that 3-parter, considering that it's the holidays.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Heck, I still despise A Season to Remember. Ugh, more like A Season to Forget.
No, well, I
Turbo, right?
despise the season to remember for a different reason because I think the biggest issue that I've had of season to remember is that there were too many plot points that were just not meshing well. You have, old man Tommy, old man Cat reminiscing,
Oops, what did I do?
and you have this whole international holiday festival, Bulk
Yeah.
and Skull searching for missing fruitcake, and then the bias blaster bull crap,
Uh,
and then Debbie Ex Machina comes in to sing
what-
her chintzy little song and say that the best gift that you give is the gift of love. Honestly, Debbie Ex Machina spouting out. Obviously,
what happened.
Debbie Ex Machina spouting out her little pearls of wisdom of what her mommy has to say. It's just kind of stupid. And
yeah.
if you just cut Debbie Ex Machina altogether, if you cut the old man Tommy, old man Catherine shit altogether, it would have been a much better holiday episode.
At least
As
a
it was-
little.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
I'll
you
tell you
could've-
this.
I mean, after all the holiday paraphernalia was stolen, they couldn't even do a what do you call this? A scavenger hunt. And then you have little Miss Debbie Ex Machina solving the problem with her mommy's pearls of wisdom and a little song that she said that she says that when she feels bad, her mommy sings her a song, and if she asks someone to hear it, it's like, and when she sang, it's like her nasal voice was just, yeah. But I think that also shows another problem with Power Rangers Zeo, of it going 2 steps forward and one step forward and 2 steps backward.
It did happen quite a bit.
So much. You get so many changes, but
yeah,
how they managed it was just it left a lot to be desired.
Yeah,
How they managed the changes in Zeo left a lot to be desired.
Yeah, and here's an interesting little fact for y'all. I don't know. Well, maybe not fact, but a pretty obvious, an observation on my part. You know, the whole thing that they were all not biased anymore because of the song. I think Saban technically ripped that idea from an old episode of Shining Time Station, Christmas episode called "'Tis the Gift," because there's a scene where everybody's kind of arguing about stuff. It didn't involve anything like that. It was just people were arguing because, stress of the holidays. We'll leave it at that. And all of a sudden, a little girl who was all gloomy and all that to begin with, she starts singing a song, and everybody calms down and is like, "Oh, that's so adorable. Gee, doesn't that sound a little familiar?"
Yeah.
What was Saban thinking?
Well, he did have a bad tendency to get ideas from other places. Heck, allegedly, he ripped off Saved by the Bell when he created Power Rangers. Whatever.
Oh, boo.
There is no,
boo to Saban.
it's not even close. No, I don't care what they say. And that includes the Anger video game nerd. No, that it is not even close. I've seen Saved by the Bell. It sucks. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. And plus, these teenagers are nothing but trouble. They get into trouble. They cause trouble.
They even mess things up.
Yeah, they mess things up all the time. They're not goody two-shoes. Now, if you want to talk about Bulk and Skull maybe being ripped off of Saved by the Bell, sure. I'll let you have that. And, the nerd even said when he played the video game, the Super Nintendo video game, that is, and at the very end, how, I don't know if y'all seen this, or played this, but the old Super Nintendo video game for Power Rangers, at the end, Zach is dancing at the juice bar, and he says, "Oh, that's a totally Saved by the Bell thing." Since when? I never seen them do that. They're all 100% in the school. I've never seen them anywhere else.
I don't believe this.
This is ridiculous. This is what I'm talking about. They like to mess things up.
And you wonder
reason.
why, and you wonder why I also believe that Mighty Morphin isn't really as great as it was, and why other seasons like Time Force and In Space and Lost Galaxy have succeeded against Mighty Morphin.
Not to mention Dino Thunder, RPM, Dino Charge, and other Power Ranger scenes that could be
especially RPM and SPD.
Dino Thunder.
Well,
What
for
about
me,
Dino Thunder, I
guys,
can actually take that in because I get that they flipped that whole school narrative over its head.
yeah. Well, for me, it'll always be Mighty Morphin as number one, but that's where I started because growing up, that was the show for me. But I will not deny, Space was a great season. It was fantastic. It saved the series from
Yes.
Turbo. 'Cause, yeah,
Amen.
yeah, and that's the truth
Amen.
because it has been said. I don't know if it's ever been proven, but it has been said that Space was supposed to be the final season, and Countdown to Destruction that was supposed to be it. However, because Space saved the franchise from what Turbo destroyed, they kept Saban tried to keep it going with Lost Galaxy, which to me still stinks. But there was a lot of great series behind it. I mean, I loved Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder as well.
Yeah,
They were great
I could
seasons.
see why. I could understand why your sentiments of Lost Galaxy
Yeah.
is
Yeah, I
contentious.
think I
I could
agree with
understand
Movie
why
Universe.
because it's a sequel series to In Space, and I
Yeah.
guess given our collective attitudes to sequel series, let alone sequels,
Yeah.
they kind of lie in a very difficult and compromising position.
That's true.
I
Plus,
100% agree with Movie Fan by saying that Lost Galaxy, which I actually agree that I'm not the biggest fan of Lost Galaxy because it's not really that great compared to like Mighty Morphin or Zeo. I'm not saying that it's terrible, but it could be one of my least favorite things in the franchise, which is
Yeah.
why I decided to rank it down on my tier list ranking
Yeah.
if you want to see it, by the way. So
I
I
think with
think Movie
Lost
Fan is
Galaxy,
right.
it tried so hard to exceed in what In Space could
I think that's
accomplish.
where it all went wrong. Yeah. The
I
one
think
good
it
thing,
tried to
though,
be just as much of a space opera as In
yeah,
Space.
there was one good thing, though, and that was the crossover with them in space versus the Psycho Rangers. That was totally worth watching.
Oh yeah,
I missed
I
out on
actually
that
like
years
that
ago
crossover.
because I'll admit I missed out on that years ago because with space, I got so irritated with it in such a short time that I just, of course, by that
Is it
time
just
maybe it
because
was
of the
time for me to move on.
melodrama?
I don't know, but I'm sorry.
Is it because of the melodrama or
Yes, it was the melodrama. That's what really blew it for me. I think because
yeah, I think they
I'm
took the space
sorry.
opera
Uh-huh.
elements in Lost Galaxy to 11. I understand.
Mhm. But I can, and I'll admit I haven't watched every series all the way through. I've been here and there. I kept in touch because by that time, I hate to say it, I kind of grew out of it in a way because you grow up, you move on to other things,
Mhm.
or you kind of give up on a series like The Simpsons.
Yes.
But that's for another day. That's for another day. Nutshell, that's been on too long. That's all there is to it. But anyway, yeah, it's washed up. Anyway, but yeah, the thing is, but I still kept in touch. I mean, I kept in touch with Dino Fury. That was pretty cool. Let's see what else. Let's see, Dino Thunder. Yeah, that was a great series.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was a
Mystic
good
Force was
SPD.
pretty cool. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
Ooh.
like
SPD was pretty
Mystic
cool.
Force. I even watched the whole series back in January, and I can
Yeah.
understand why I decided to watch that series. Hell, I even
Yeah.
did fan art of the Mystic Force Rangers. Sure, there are some colored Rangers that weren't in the series, but I decided
Mhm.
to add them in my drawing if you want
Yeah.
to see them in my fan arts. I think I'll
Hmm.
probably show them to you.
Yeah,
So
good
if
idea.
I could, proving that I'm a big Power Ranger fan, I'll be right back. Need to
Oh,
get my
cool.
drawing book.
Yeah, and I'll admit I did watch Power Rangers Samurai because for a while when I heard that RPM was supposed to be the final series, and then putting up with
Saban.
Disney's. Oh no,
Yeah.
not that one, not that one, and then putting
Oh.
up with. No, correction, that came way later. I'm sorry. I was
The
going
reverb.
to put up with Disney's rehashing of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah. The reverb. It was just stupid. It was
Yeah, did you
absolutely
ever see
stupid.
my review on that?
But
Oh, yeah,
I think the reverb also germinated what was going to become of the Neo Saban series.
I think so too.
Especially when it came to rehashing Go-Go Power Rangers. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
Are
and
you that
I'll be.
creatively bankrupt?
Yeah, I
people
think
that-
that was. yeah, I think that's what kind of made Saban say, okay, I'm buying this back now. Even though technically he didn't really fully relinquish it, because actually in the background he was still making money off of the Disney versions. And in fact, in Hasbro, he is still listed as a producer.
Oh my God.
So technically,
man.
that's how good of a businessman he is. I can't deny the truth. Any businessman who can still keep a nice grip on his franchise after all these years and just stay in the background, nice work, man.
Oh yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
I gotta give him respect for that, because there's not too many people who could pull that off. You know?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was referring to what Saban did, but yeah, that's
Oh,
really good
yeah.
work, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh my
'cause I take
God.
inspirations from. You like my drawings? Because I did.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
Appetizing, absolutely appetizing.
They're great. They're absolutely great. I like
I think
them.
Yeah.
I think
I
I
even did
definitely
this back
needed
in
to see those
January,
after what I've been
and
rambling on about.
oh
I
yeah,
hear you,
decided to make
man.
this
We've
Green
all been
Ranger a
one thing or
female
another.
rather than.
Oh, Zeo is
And
better than Turbo Sky's dub, definitely. Turbo's the
yeah,
worst.
Mm.
Well, one of them.
yeah, I know there's no Black Ranger in Mystic Force, but decided
True.
to do this one.
Yeah,
right.
whatever you
Would've
want it
made
to be,
sense.
that's
Makes
best.
a lot of sense to
Yeah,
compliment
and
Udana.
this one.
Yeah,
It's Polaris Knight.
nice. I like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mystic Force just had just as much of an ambitious cast as SPD and Jungle Fury combined, and
oh, and you want to see my other work of Power Rangers? Because I can show them to you. Like
yes,
this
please.
one, the red
Wow.
one. Yeah, this was based from Power Rangers Dino Charge. The
Ah,
series
I
that
thought
came
that
back
looked
in
familiar.
2015, 2016, and decided to. And some of my
I
friends
like
said
that
that
one.
they look a lot like the 2017's Power Rangers movie, which I can understand that, but it's dinosaur. I'm into dinosaur themed
nice.
Power Rangers, like, but dino themed Power Rangers is my thing after all. And
Obviously.
yeah,
I like it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Very impressive.
Love 'em.
and the Silver Ranger,
Nice.
Ooh.
Silver.
Nice. I like that one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Don't forget. Oh, yes, right. Lost Galaxy. Corone became the new Pink Ranger. Right. That's very important. Forgot about
Well,
that.
yeah, definitely. You know, I would have also loved, you know, if Kendrick's had
that's
ended up
awesome.
surviving. You know, I would have given her a sort of second Pink Ranger, sort of like more powerful Pink Ranger form in which she has wings to signify that okay, she's gone through the afterlife and now she's this sort of pink angel ranger. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Oh, and
She'd have a lot
there's
more
also-
celestial powers.
Yeah.
Nice.
Imagine if Power Rangers did a crossover with like imagine if they do a Viking season of Power Rangers. Which is
That'd be
why
kind
I
of
decided
cool,
to
actually.
do
I
this.
think, actually, yeah. Yeah, and you know what? Just getting back to this well, correction. Let's watch this a little bit more. I love these. I love this artwork. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
Go with the good before we go to the bad stuff. Anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you know why I did this based on Super Mega, aka Pirate Sentai?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Kaizo
And
Sentai
look
Gokaijo.
at the Silver Ranger. Decided to
Awesome.
rip this straight from Super Mega Silver and make it look
rock on, man.
amazing. And
Wow.
Love the morphers down there.
Yep.
yeah.
Love them.
I mean,
Yeah, they're great.
of course they are. And
Yeah.
not to mention, I wanted to show you my drawing of the characters from Dino Thunder. Like this one.
Oh, that's impressive. Very impressive. Seriously.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. My drawing of Dino Thunder, which is... Yeah, I did this one back around in last week ago. Was it like last week on my birthday? Yeah, like that. And I also did this one for Dino Thunder Blue, which is...
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, he's very good at
I even did this back in 2019, long before I did the recreating artwork stuff from... recreating artwork.
My friend Jonathan loves your work, by the way.
Oh, that was awesome. I think think I'm looking for the Dino Thunder Yellow, but you guys continue while I search for Dino Thunder Yellow, and then you guys
Let's
continue
see.
ahead. I'll hold it off.
There was
Oh,
something I
yeah.
was going to say, but I kind of forgot what it was. It was on a bad scale, so maybe I'm better off. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, there is. Let me think of that. And you know what? Just thinking about Cosmic Fury, considering how they rushed it and how they're. Oh, now I remember. Considering this whole reboot issue, I don't know how this is going to turn out. I got a bad feeling about this because I know what
Yeah.
their excuses are and all that. But, it's just that I'm sorry. If you want to make it your own, come up with your own series. Don't try to rehash something. And the way I see it, let's not forget what has gotten Power Rangers this far. Super Sentai.
Mhm.
And, abandoning that, I think there's going to be some problems. And
Oh, and
Exactly.
not to mention, do you know that stupid TV show that tried to rip off Power Rangers?
Would that be the
Nickelodeon
wrestling
for,
one?
like, Danger Force. You know
Danger Force.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, that is a complete rip-off to Power Rangers. Like,
Well, there's many, but yeah, that was one of them.
And the one who plays Chaucer, the Yellow Ranger, is in Dungeon Force. The one who plays the Yellow Ranger and Zeo, she was actually in that show, Danger Force.
What?
yeah, what a
Is he a
surprise,
Belize?
man. I feel like ranting on that garbage show, Danger Force, for ripping off my favorite childhood TV show, Power Rangers.
Not to
And
mention that show
Sentai.
sucked.
I can't stand a single thing in Danger Force.
Nope.
Like, if you want to rip off Power Rangers in your own way, that's fine. But make them fight crime and all that stuff, rather than doing stupid jack shit and all that stuff.
Mhm.
I
Like,
know.
Exactly. Oh.
oh, and speaking of which, I got my Dino Thunder Yellow right there.
Oh, that's
Oh,
really cool.
wow.
Bingo!
Wow.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's real awesome.
Mm.
Love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
Thanks.
the way I see it, I think there may be a way to kind of do both in a way. I know this is going to sound stupid or impossible, but you know what? If Hasbro wants to do their thing and create their own little thing, the way I see it, why don't they do that and possibly try to stick with another version, which is the Super Sentai kid-friendly version, more adult, more kid-friendly. Theoretically, that might work. They might make them more money in a way. Theoretically, sure, it might cost them more money, but at the same time, it could also, you could also have one for kids, one for, well, maybe not necessarily adults, but because they're leaning on more like somewhere by PG-13, I think they were saying, but even then, I don't know. But either way, I think there could be a way to have both without too much trouble. But, they want to do it their way, they say, so I don't know.
Right.
But
Yeah, and before they said they're gonna do the reboot, they originally said they're planning to do all of that besides doing one thing. They said they're gonna do multi things like doing pre-K Power Rangers, anime Power Rangers, adapting all of that.
and animate Power Rangers. That could be kind of cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, the anime series.
Pre-K, I'm not too sure about. That might be
I mean,
a little...
Yeah,
Perhaps
I think
Perhaps
it's going to be
So
iffy.
that could have been
I'm not
really
a
Instead of
fan
the change,
of any
that
change
would have
superhero
been
that
movies
really
plan
and all
and
that
just
stuff.
do
that
one
for
thing.
Power
Personally, I
Rangers.
would go with superheroes in live action media because that's my
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like Power Rangers, the Super Sentai, which I could understand, which was good in my opinion, but I prefer the Power Rangers and Sentai in live action stuff because they can pull off live action stuff with Power Rangers.
Well, that's where it all
and the
began.
Super
So, yeah.
Sentai.
And what were you trying to say, Antonio? I'm sorry.
Do you know this show, Lupin Ranger versus Pata Ranger, in which it's a sort of cops and
I
robbers?
think I have.
I remember
actually.
That would have been really cool for Power Rangers,
Yeah.
especially the there's like this Super Sentai with the trains as a theme. I get why that wasn't really adapted, but I think they didn't want to rehash Turbo.
Oh yeah, that's
Would have
right.
been-
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that's
I mean, of
stinker
course,
of
I
series.
get that they didn't want history to repeat itself, but this
Yeah.
is something that I really, really kind of find ironic. So the people who've made the Power Rangers series don't want history to repeat itself, but at the same time, they didn't learn from the history that they've paved, which is what happened with Samurai and Megaforce.
Yeah.
Not
Oh, and not to
yeah,
mention the 2017 film.
yeah.
They didn't learn from Turbo, Power Rangers movie, because think about this for a second, folks, and I'll definitely talk about this in a future video.
Okay.
In Turbo, we don't see them morph until I think it was a little after the halfway point. And for 2017, they don't morph until almost the very end. And that was the biggest complaint.
Adding
Yeah, that's another thing that bothers me.
Saban
about
did literally the
2017
same
Power
thing,
Rangers
only he just
movie.
made it worse later on.
They're supposed to be
Come on,
more
Saban.
like it's
Come
not
on.
like what you will. Wait, what the hell is going on? And this is the reason why Saban we mess things up. All they
Oh,
care
yeah.
about is money. They don't
Yeah,
care
and-
about the fans.
I mean,
Yeah, and
come
even
on,
worse.
Saban. You should have at least give the Rangers more morphing abilities. Like, take a look
That
at the
we
first
also
Iron Man
promoted
movie.
it.
A movie
Yeah,
from
and-
2008 where Iron Man tries out the suits and then he goes out fighting crime and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He could do the same thing for Power Rangers. I mean, come
Sure.
on, Saban. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, and it gets even worse, guys, because I don't know if y'all are aware of this. I mean, I've talked
I'm
about this
super
here
sure.
and there, and I think this is going to be the last time I'm going to bring this up unless I review the 2017 film as a whole again.
so
but-
do I.
They could have had all the Rangers, minus Tui Trang, of course, because she died, you know. But at that time,
And-
Jason
yeah.
and Norm were still around. And, you know, the thing is, they could have had them play their parents. That would have
Mhm.
been a beautiful passing of the
Exactly.
torch. But no, what did they do? They went underground so they couldn't be contacted by them, except for maybe Jason, because I don't know if they had him on the line or if maybe he wormed his way in, so to speak. But Amy, she had to literally fight her way in for that cameo appearance. There's
Yeah.
actually an interview of this. They literally went underground. They put a code name for themselves. They called themselves Shirt, as in shirt.
Are you?
So
oh my
the original
goodness.
Rangers could not contact
Why
them.
did he-
I'm not making this up.
What?
Yeah, in fact, I can find that video right now and show you guys. I
What,
know
the
you're interested, so I'm
barnacles?
going to find it right now.
Why
It's
did he
unbelievable.
name it?
I don't
don't
believe
understand
this.
why they even named it. I don't understand why that they even named it the Cool Clan with this mess.
I don't believe
Yeah,
this.
it's really the truth. Oh, no, it's true. It's all
I knew
true.
it was-
It's all true. I can't believe it either, but it's true.
I knew it was true.
Okay, I'm going to
But I
have to
don't
show an
understand
old
why.
video of this. It's going to have to.
I've been
Wait,
named that,
wait,
but
I
I
gotta
don't
find
understand why.
Wait,
Mm,
Because the
I
only
can't
person
believe
that
this
who
either.
wore from the
Oh, you-
movie is Billy. Because from 2017 movie. Because Billy's the only one that morphed, not the rest of them.
Yeah.
I'm going to try
Mm.
something here. Guys, I'm not sure if this is going to work 100%, but give me a break here. I hope this works. Yeah, I think this is it. I'm going to have to use an old footage of mine because I can't find this off the top of my head right now. But I'll put it on the part that matters. Just give me a sec.
Yeah, this is awkward.
Yeah, Billy's the only one that's more.
Yeah, this is unbelievable.
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
On the video, and I'm going to share it with you.
Here we go.
And you are not going to believe this.
So Amy Jo Johnson, of course, I think secret's out that you make a
Oh yeah,
small
I think
cameo.
I saw
Cameo.
Do Power
Movie. You might miss me.
But I
I'm
hear
in there.
talking to a few other former Rangers, and I
Yeah.
know like Steve Cardenas, other people,
Pay
like
close
they
attention.
tried to get a spot in this movie because it's a huge thing in this new generation for
Yeah.
Power Ranger fans. But they couldn't do it, and so how did you sneak in there? Like I feel like you're really lucky to get this opportunity.
I know. Well, actually, I was a little sneaky.
Wow.
Yeah, I was. So I had my agent in the U.S. try as well, but she couldn't get anywhere. So I had my agent here call the production office while they were shooting, which was really hard to find the production office because they were under the name Shirt.
Yeah.
It was like under secret
underground.
and just called
Whoa.
and like planted the seed on the
That's weird.
ground while they were shooting to the director and the
That
line
is
producer and the people who were
beyond
acting.
weird.
And within 2 weeks, they called and said,
Yeah, Saban is
"Come
actually
on
the
and do
worst
a cameo with
company
JDF." So I don't know the whole
ever.
story, but I know that they were telling my agent in the States no for a long time.
Oh, wow.
And then finally we called the production.
I thought for sure, like,
And that was my agent here, Glenn Coburn's idea. So
I thought for sure, like, you being the original Kimberly Hart and like one of.
well, I think they're happy
favorite.
now. I think they're happy
I
that
think
they
it worked
did
out,
it.
but
'cause
I'm
I think
surprised they
it's
didn't like
working out.
have you like that was if I was making the movie, that'd be like a first thing I would do. It'd be like, okay, we gotta get some cameos in there. Every movie is
I
called.
know. I
some big
don't know.
cameos.
I mean, I can kind of understand of wanting to separate the original series from what they're doing right now, and I understand that. And so it's nice that it did work out that we got to actually have the cameo. I know after the screening at the premiere, Walter Jones came up to me. He's like, "How'd you get in there?" And I'm like, "I called the production office."
It's like, no, why did I?
Why did I do that? Anyway, so
Fair
it's kind of interesting little tidbit.
Yeah, and I know, maybe a little glimmer of hope for the future too. Maybe the Rangers who didn't make it in this one, there will be sequels. Maybe
Nope,
they'll
there
like for
won't.
the next.
Call the
And then there
production
were-
office.
Yeah,
guys.
that's the trick. The next, few Power Ranger
Don't
movies.
call Heim. He
Yeah.
won't let you in there.
Yeah,
No.
call
All right.
the office.
Just call the office.
Just call the
I
office.
don't know.
Right?
just walk
They're
in.
like they're probably shooting on set and like, "Hey, Amy Jo just called. She wants to be in the movie." Oh,
You show up, yeah.
she's Canadian now.
Yeah,
There's
perfect.
shot in Vancouver. Sure.
Or just throw like the
Fly her
old
out.
Ranger suit on and just sneak onto the set, and they won't even be like, "What? Why is her?"
Well, that's
suit
what JDF
That's
did
a
to
stu-
get in there. No, I'm kidding.
just walked out? Do we have a Green
No.
Ranger in this movie? Because I'm looking at the script, and I don't think we do.
All right, I'm going to stop there. It's just a bunch of the usual banter. But yeah, can you believe that? They went underground, so they couldn't contact them.
Oh,
Hmm.
I don't believe it.
I know.
this is
That's
ridiculous.
unbelievable. And stupid.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Pointless.
Like Saban has messed things up again. I can't believe that he even does that.
Another
not
thing
even
that bothers me
Louis.
Well,
about
it might not have
Superman
been
is
just
that-
him, but he was part of it. We all know it. So,
Oh yeah. Oh,
I mean, there's
another
more
thing
than
that
just
bothered
one
me about
producer,
Superman
but he is the big one. So, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, another
But-
thing that bothered me about Super Megaforce is that, like, where did these unknown Ranger keys to morph into any other Power Rangers? Like,
I know.
where did these Rangers come from? Like, we don't see
Yeah,
them in any other
exactly.
Power Ranger
It's-
seasons.
That-
It was
that
it was
bothers
part of
me
the
too.
weight.
Sentai
You know
footage
Oh
what
and
my
they
then
should have
God.
done
that's
in
it.
Super
Like,
Mega Force? They should have
even in
just
Legendary
stuck,
Battle, like,
stuck
As
with
a-
from Mighty Morphin to Mega Force. They should have stuck
Yeah.
with the morphs there. That's how that's how Forever Red worked. They stuck
Yes.
in Red Rangers.
That's true.
That was it. No extra Red Rangers from other Sentai. That was it.
That's true.
With Super Mega Force, they really should have used the
All the Red
examples
Rangers.
that they should have learned from Forever Red. Stick with the source that
exactly.
you
Hell,
did
I
from
can't
Mighty
believe I'm
Morphin
saying
to
this,
Mega
but
Force.
even Grid
And-
Connection did a better job than Super Mega. I'm serious.
Which one?
Grid Connection.
The Beast Morpher.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Like
about that.
me and Shamer did a podcast on that on my birthday, which
Oh,
I
cool.
actually like Grid Connection from Beast Morphers. For those who don't like Grid Connection, then I'm okay with that. But I take it over both Dimension Danger and Legendary Battle from Super
Mm.
Mega, especially Legendary Battle, because Legendary Battle is the spit in the face in the Power Ranger franchise, a massive spit in the face.
I mean, it was just too much build up, and then
that's it.
you could have
part of it.
fleshed them out a little bit more. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I really don't understand
Yeah.
why they.
It was just glorified
so
fan
bad.
service.
Guys, my bro Skystub had a thought here. Hasbro presents Power Rangers.
Oh.
Gradar. I'm sorry, bro. I'm having a hard time pronouncing it.
Radahar.
Oh, thank you. It's been a while since I read that sort of thing. A Viking-based timeline where their ancestors passed on unto their descendants, the Morphers. I like the idea of it.
Mm-hmm.
which are weapons, and their mentor is basically an immortal. Oh yeah, their weapons are their morphers. I like that very much, and that speaks to Viking culture because, it's as I recall, they named their weapons for a reason. If I remember my history, it's a little lacking these days, but it was a big thing for them to pass along their weapons from father to son, and they often had names, ancestral weapons, and they treated them like they were alive, living beings. So you treat it with respect, which I can totally agree with, but ultimately it's a warrior, not just a weapon. But yeah, I like the concept. That'd be a cool idea. Let's see.
Oh, and
An
yeah, for
immortal
those
named
who are,
Dragon Master. Nice.
yeah, about that. So, who's excited for Legend of the White Dragon coming next year? Because I'm
I
definitely
am.
hyped up for
I am.
Legend of the
I
White
am,
Dragon.
but I'm also saddened at the same time because
Same here.
Me
Yeah, they
It's kind of a
personally,
shame that Jason David Frank is not around anymore, but
yeah.
at least we
Me
get to see him in
personally,
action with Legend of the White Dragon, which I can't wait to check that out. It's like a different interpretation of the Power Rangers, but something really, really different. But one thing I have to point out is that those guys in their outfits, they felt like they came right out from Star Wars and into something for Power Rangers.
or from
And even with the
Predator.
White Dragon outfit. I actually like that one. It looks kind of cool, like a genetic hybrid between a White Ranger and the Green Ranger, and then
It
put
does,
the gold visor, the gold screening thing on the helmet, and boom, you get the White Dragon. Which I might do a recreation of a Green Ranger, but in my genetic hybrid, and then I might use Dino Thunder Red, and then the Mighty Morphin Green, and then I'll do my Green Ranger style. That'll be like next year, so stay tuned for that on top.
That's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know I'm excited to see this myself, but like I said, at the same time, I'm probably going to end up shedding a tear or two because, for me it was double hard to lose him because I lost my brother the same way. And literally almost the same circumstances too. So that's what makes it double hard. So but
I think on a general note, I'm more excited for any project starring former Power Rangers actors than what Disney and Marvel are shitting out these days.
That's for sure.
I mean, I don't care how long the Order is going to take to, be resurrected anymore. I don't give a fudge how long it's going to take to be resurrected, even as a series.
Yeah.
Just have it released. I mean, I'm just praying for Karen Ashley and the rest of the people just to have it resurrected, because at this rate, I'm like, I've had enough of Marvel and Disney altogether. I've had enough.
I know. I'm sick of it too. In fact, I'm waiting for Venom 3 just because, But, at the same time, I agree. I mean, they've taken this concept way too far and all that. Plus, it's gotten boring to me, and that's sad. And I mean, action movies aren't supposed to be boring. It's gotten so generic, it's boring.
It's supposed to be fun and exciting.
Yeah.
For some reason, they just turn out to be dull and obnoxious.
And
trying way too hard to be woke.
Yeah, that's the worst part of it. Them being political and woke, And let's get real. That's one of the reasons why the Eternals failed. The second reason, nobody ever heard of them. That's the truth.
Yes.
I never heard about Eternals. I never heard about it.
You see? That's the other thing. Nobody
never heard about it either. Never heard about it either.
Yeah,
nobody even heard of that.
Yeah, see? That's the one thing. No one ever heard of them. So how's that supposed to work if no one's ever heard of them? And the other thing was they were trying to be woke on that one, big time, and in the worst ways. And I remember the Middle East made it very clear they weren't going to show that because of that genre. And Disney actually folded and cut out some of that stuff just so they could show it in the Middle East, which shows they can't brainwash the rest of the world.
Gosh.
I mean, I don't care if somebody's gay or not or whatever, but it's one thing to do it for the right reasons in a good way, but it's another thing to cram it down our throats and say, just because. There's
Right.
a difference. I mean, I've had a lot of friends who are gay. I don't care. You know,
Mhm.
if anybody's gay, that's cool, man. Or lady, you do what you do. You do what makes
Yeah.
you happy. That doesn't bother me. But having it crammed down my throat every 5 minutes, I'm not going to be brainwashed like that. I'm not going to be forced to accept somebody because I accepted them to begin with. Why would I need to be forced to accept them? That's the thing. They're forcing it.
I
That's
know they literally the
and that
same
makes
thing
you
with Power Rangers.
resistant. That makes people
Exactly.
resistant.
Mhm.
But yeah, let's get off this political genre because I'll have to say that for another day. But anyway, yeah, and Blue Beetle did better. I've heard that it did, but I don't know.
I didn't touch it. I was too busy with other stuff. Anyway, I think I better rest my eyes as of right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know what you mean. And there is one more thing I definitely must show everybody first.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
imagine
Oh, and,
recording
you wanna see my
9
Power Ranger
different
collection?
Saban
Because
era
I've-
Blue Ranger morphs and compiling them with an intro.
Yeah. I hear you.
Playing
There is
with
one
an-
thing I
with
definitely have to
intro and an
acknowledge.
outro.
Oh yeah, wow, that's a lot to cover. There is one thing I got to acknowledge though. Lord Zed's defeat in Cosmic Fury.
Okay, cool.
Not very promising. But I'll show you anyway.
Okay, cool.
This is how the mighty Lord Zed defeated. Yeah, he was defeated by making him think he's defeated. Oh, and they said that it was either that area or that planet itself that makes him dream this thing. And you know what that's a ripoff of? The Legend of Korra.
What?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that whole thing was ripped off of The Legend of Korra from season 2, where season 2 for my friends in Europe. I don't want them to think otherwise here. Anyway,
I've seen better Power
but
Rangers
anyway,
final battles with bosses like Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder, Mystic Force, and Operation Overdrive. Yeah, For those people who don't like Operation Overdrive, I'm okay with that. But I actually like this final battle where the Rangers have to fight off Florius, the main villains in that show. Hell, the final battle from Dino Thunder was epic, where all the team at Power Rangers Dino Thunder had to fight Mesogog, that was pretty epic in my opinion. And probably the best way to end off the series of Dino Thunder.
Yeah.
And even with Mystic Force, where all the Mystic Rangers used up their magic powers to fight the Master by sucking the magicness, and then the Master explodes, and then the Rangers fly. I mean, that was really epic. Take notes, Saban. Take notes on that.
Actually, at this point, yeah, I agree. And right now, for this one, I would say Hasbro needs to take notes because that's how we defeat the mighty Lord Zed, by having him be in an area where he's dreaming that he defeated them, and that he is forced to put up with his wife Rita Repulsa. Again, a ripoff of Avatar, because there was this Legend of Korra, because there was this one episode where Aang's kids are in this realm in the spirit world where people who committed terrible deeds and all that, they are stuck in a misty area, wandering, kind of thinking of going through the tortures of what they did, thinking about what they did and all that stuff. It's basically a ripoff of that.
Unbelievable.
That's
pathetic.
I
find
it was good for the Legend of Korra, but come on, taking someone else's work like that.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Jordan, good to see you.
Very underwhelming, and want to show you my collection right there.
Awesome. Love it.
2 Power Ranger figures.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, defeat the mighty Lord Zed like that. No.
Sooner or later, I'll get more for
It's
Christmas,
underwhelming.
as well as other dinosaur figures, because I like collecting not just dinosaur figures.
But by the way, LBT, those are wonderful.
Right there. Red and green. Just
And guess what I got? I got Dino Fury Morpher.
Oh yeah, cool, man.
Wow.
Oh, even the dinosaur that comes along with it.
Hooray.
Yeah.
Rock on.
Pretty amazing.
Listen.
Yeah. And let's see. I know there was something else.
I got the Secret Center version besides buy that Japan toy, America toys, because I did not like their American toys except by the Morphin. Because they didn't make it accurate as the one they're supposed to make it from the show. And like I was telling LBT that.
Oh, sorry about the background noise in my area. If it's
Oh, that's
if it-
okay. Don't worry. Oh, and you know what, guys? I got some pretty big news. Tomorrow,
What?
I found out that just this week, I just found out, I didn't even know until literally yesterday. I found out that Rocky DeSantos himself is coming to my area tomorrow, so I'm going to get his autograph.
Wow.
unbelievable,
Steve Cardenas.
man, that is
Yep.
amazing, man. That is really amazing.
I know. Yeah,
and,
I'm gonna have him
and,
autograph
speaking of
my shirt.
tomorrow-
I gotta have him autograph my shirt, definitely.
Speaking of
Ray.
tomorrow, me and my friend Shamer are doing a Power Ranger podcast on the Christmas one
God.
because the last Power Ranger podcast that me and Shamer did was like Dino Thunder, Day of the Dino, and Dino Charge. Even with Forever
Oh.
Red from Wall Force. And some other Power Ranger episodes like Beast Morphers, I think. Yeah, those podcasts. 3 on my
Oh, that's
channel
awesome.
and some are Shamer's live stream. So tomorrow's December 10th, and me and Shamer are doing a Power Ranger podcast on the
Yeah.
Christmas specials on Power Rangers whenever we decided to do them and all that stuff. Right, buddy?
Right.
Rock on, guys.
Hmm.
Yeah. But after all, this stream is actually pretty cool and possibly the bestest things to ever come up with the Power Ranger fans. And it cannot get any better with that.
Mhm. I think so.
Mm.
They
Man,
should have been a little bit more time to beat Lord Zed. You better believe it, Jordan. And they should have done a lot more than just put him in there. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
seriously.
I mean, it would have been better if the other Power Ranger characters show up and then they fight off Lord Zed and then they defeated him and all that stuff. Like, would have been really
That would have been
cool,
better,
like final boss
definitely.
battle.
Mhm.
Yeah, it would have been way better. It would have been like Lost Galaxy, Ninja Steel, In Space.
Dino
That's
Thunder,
what
Ninja
everyone
Storm,
would have been
Ninja
hoping
Force,
for.
and
I
all
know
that
that for a
stuff.
fact. So
Because I think I agree with your points on Cosmic Fury, but yeah, Cosmic Fury may not be as great as Dino Fury, but which I'll probably stick to Dino Fury. But for what it is kind of nice and a perfect way to celebrate an anniversary to Power Rangers because it didn't even feel like a season on its own. It felt like a special series, which is a follow-up to Once and Always, which came out a few months earlier. Sorry.
I would say this feels more like a mini series, kind of like the Alien Rangers thing,
Yeah, like that.
but maybe not as memorable to me. But that's just me talking. So,
Right.
Same here.
I mean, I know a lot of people didn't think much of the Alien Rangers miniseries. I thought it was a pretty good transition, to be honest. But I can understand why people didn't think too much of it, though. But you know, it was all right. I thought it was okay. But you know, let's get real. By the time Zeo hit, you know, the concept was starting to get a little stale with our original Rangers and all that.
Right.
And that was part of the problem because they were still in
That's-
high school, for instance. You know,
And Turbo was sort of the death knell for the
it
likes of
was.
Tommy. Yeah, for Tommy, Adam, Tanya, and Kat. It was the death
Yeah.
knell for them.
I dislike Turbo and Super
It was
Ninja Steel
terrible.
because Super
It
Ninja
was.
Steel was terrible in my opinion.
Oh yeah, Turbo
me
was the
too.
worst.
It felt like
I'll admit-
it felt like Tommy, Adam, Tanya, and Kat were just coasting by,
They were.
and then Justin was just okay. I mean, I don't really have too much against Justin, let alone Blake Foster, but it felt like he was just trying to, you know, rake in the younger viewers to come back to Power
Yeah.
Rangers. I
Yeah,
get,
that's-
then
that's
again,
true.
then
Operation
again, the
Overdrive
concept
is
of a
better
Kid
than
Ranger
Turbo.
isn't anything new. I mean, Paul from
Even
Bad
RPM,
Ninja
RPM
and
itself is way better than
and
Turbo.
Riki from Orenja were technically Rangers under 13 years old.
That's true. And who can forget that Ranger?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't see why. I mean, if I don't see why people bitch about Paul and some people are bitching about Justin. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Who's
get.
that
Oh,
going?
I
Justin
understand.
point
Now I
that.
understand because Justin's a main and Paul is a sixth. Same with Riki. He's a sixth.
Unbelievable.
Who's echoing back there?
And when it was me.
Oh, okay,
That's all.
no problem. Well, it's all right. I've had this happen before, so it's no big deal. But yeah,
Even
and
me.
either way, with Turbo, that was just bad in general. Because I do remember someone once said that for Jason David Frank, he was pretty much burned out with the series by that point, and it does show that he was getting really tired of doing this because he was doing this for 4 years, for crying out loud.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, he was burned out. And I don't know if I truly believe what Catherine Sutherland and Tanya are claiming now that for them, when Jason and Frank decided to leave, they were just fired. I don't know because I've never heard Johnny Young Bosch say anything. So
I guess because with Johnny Young Bosch, he was already finding his own way with voiceover work, so it was a harbinger of
well,
things to
yeah,
come. So at least he had something
that's
to fall
possible.
back on.
Well, I can believe that, but at the same time, I haven't heard him claim that he was fired either. So I don't know if I can take their word for it exactly 100%. And for Jason, we'll never know now. Enough said there.
I think they will all quit because they supposed to get paid for saying him out, but basically they decided to quit.
Well, we know Jason did for sure because he was getting burned out by it. Yeah, I know, bro. I hear the echo too. We can't help that right now, but yeah. But yeah, and I'll tell you this: a lot of people don't seem to remember that Turbo was very short-lived. In fact, it didn't even finish after November.
Oh,
yeah.
Brother.
Because usually it goes from like maybe spring or summer, and it goes all the way into next year. But this one didn't.
Right. Anyway, I think I better
Yeah, I think I better end it too because my voice is starting to give out, and plus,
Yeah, same here.
I want to be ready to meet
Me too.
Steve Cardenas. Definitely.
Good.
I got to get my shirt out of the frame so he can autograph it.
Once a Ranger, always a Ranger. And
Yeah.
Power Rangers and Super Sentai,
Anyway,
assemble.
hope you have a good evening over there.
Yep. Okay. One thing. Just want to say for everybody, I'm glad everybody is here. I want to thank LBT75, Shamar Wallace, and of course, and Tony for joining me on this one.
No
and
problem.
for everybody in the comments, like my bro Sky Stub, Jonathan, the reviewer, comment writer, and Jordan Ramsey. I'm sorry you were late coming, man, but it was great having you here.
Yep.
Hopefully next time you can come a little sooner, so you're not at the tail end of it. I mean, I get it, man. We're all busy this time of year, holiday season, and all that. So it's cool, man. But
no problem.
But yeah, hopefully we can all do this again because I think this went really well. And even though we did get off track from Cosmic Fury, but again, 10 episodes. What's there to cover?
10 episodes.
And for the record, that also has the worst title. Yeah, the final episode has the worst title. It's called The End.
What the barnacles?
But then again, at least they didn't try to go underground, so original Power Rangers couldn't be a part of it. Like in the 2017 film.
Yeah.
Can you still believe that actually happened?
Yeah, this is the reason what I'm talking about, because like it just got really bored.
Not to mention, I'd rather stick with the Japanese counterpart of Dino Fury, like that Sentai stuff from 2019, which I know Dino Fury was based on that Sentai series, but I'd rather stick with that Sentai stuff because it adds more development to these characters and flesh them out a lot more than Cosmic Fury ever did. Because I prefer Cosmic Fury and its Japanese counterpart, Sentai. So, who agrees with me on that?
Yeah, totally.
Pretty much.
I think it's pretty cool.
Or not to mention, there's also the Super Sentai has released those other Sentai movies, like the 10th anniversary to Pirate Sentai and the 20th anniversary to both Hercule Ranger and Aba Ranger, especially the Aba Ranger 20th anniversary, which I've seen that Sentai movie and it was actually really cool. Like,
Yeah.
you should check it out.
And you wonder why there was no 10th anniversary for Megaforce.
Yeah.
Reception was going downhill.
Yeah.
Yep. Right. So.
But I still feel bad though, because it was just essentially like the nostalgia factor used as a crutch for both Megaforce and Super Megaforce. I mean,
It does.
it felt like it was like Mighty Morph, all 3 seasons of Mighty Morphin 2.0 and 1 season of Zeo 2.0. That's what it felt like for both Megaforce and Super Megaforce.
And one thing that bothered me about both Megaforce and Samurai is that they rely too much on not just on Sentai footages, but the theme song by saying "Go Go Power Rangers." Like what's up with that? Like other seasons of Power Rangers had different theme songs.
It does kind of
but
bother
both
me.
Megaforce and Samurai, they're like "Go Go Power Rangers." Like a lot of people said that it's a ripoff of Mighty Morphin, which I can understand that, but why the hell would you rely on the Mighty Morphin theme song over and over again?
If it was Disney, if they never take the back to Zero to Saban, then they would have done that song differently instead of all that.
I think so
too.
That's what I mean by Mighty Morphin nostalgia, or Mighty Morphin being nothing more than a crutch.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's come to that point. It has been that way for a long time. I won't deny that. But
you see, this is why I stick with Time Force, In Space, and Lost Galaxy. This is why
I prefer other Power Ranger series,
especially Time Force.
I've seen better Power Ranger series,
Time
and
Force
even
is a
the
good series
Sentai
too.
stuff.
Yeah,
because I've seen better. But mainly, I would pick with Dino Thunder, Ninja Storm, Dino Charge, and even with Dino Fury and other Sentai stuff, as I mentioned.
Yeah. Well, once again, guys, I'm afraid I'm going to have to end this because, I know it's getting late everywhere. In some places more than others. Plus, I want to be ready to meet Snoop Cardin. So yeah. Once again, I want to thank everyone for showing up. And, well, once again, as always, glad everybody was here. And
no problem.
This is Movie Fan signing off.
All right, then. LBT here.
See you next time.
See you next
time.
Life would find a way.